everybody. Welcome to the 12th MCU movie, A Cave My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin. Who's shrinking down with me tonight?
An unfortunate casualty in a very serious operation, Michael K. Hughes.
And this podcast is the work of gypsies. Bill Tucker.
Still funny.
I try.
I completely had forgotten that. So, even though,
Now you gotta explain. I was
gonna explain it anyway. This is round 2, because earlier today we tried to record this episode, and the internet decided to crash on me for no apparent reason. So, luckily we didn't get far before it happened.
Yeah, it was like 15 minutes, so you only have to hear us say the same thing. Well, actually, you only have to hear us saying the same thing we said again this morning, but not to you, the listener, but only to us.
Yeah,
only we have to react the same way we did a few hours ago. So, hope that's clear to everyone.
All right, now I'll introduce the movie that we're talking about. We are talking about Ant-Man. That came out in
2015.
Thank you, Mike. That wasn't on purpose. I'm like, wait a second, where did it go? Where'd it go? Oh, man. So, Bill, I know you missed some of the MC movies. Had you seen this one before?
Yeah, I did. I saw this theatrically. This was the period of time when I was seeing movies or seeing the Marvel movies regularly opening weekend with some friends, my movie crew, and I remember feeling basically the same about it then as I did now. It's a very slight movie, but it's a great breath of fresh air. It's a good. The MCU really needed this after Ultron. Like the giant Thanksgiving feast that is Ultron. It needed something small and lightweight and unassuming and just fun. And I remember really enjoying it then, and I enjoyed it quite a bit this time around.
How about you, Mike?
I remember being really lukewarm on it the first time I saw it. I think I had the opposite problem where I can't believe I'm going to say this. It felt like it was a standalone movie, like it didn't tie in with the rest of the MCU. Kind of felt out of place. Because, it's the only origin film in Phase 2, I think.
It is, because everything else is sequels.
Yeah, that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, Guardians was origin.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
I guess, yeah, that's fair.
Guardians, it was a team movie, so it was a little different.
Yeah. Plus, they still had the Infinity Stone stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And you had stuff that connected. You had Thanos. You had other things. This movie has references to other movies, but that's it.
I wonder what changed in the 2 years when Spider-Man Homecoming came out, and I'm like, oh god, could this not have been an MCU movie? But we'll get there.
You got a few. Double
standards, I guess.
For those that don't know, this movie actually was almost directed by Edgar Wright at first.
Mm-hmm.
The version we got was directed by Peyton Reed, but Edgar Wright was the one that was originally involved in this movie. I remember a Stan Lee interview where he's like, "Oh, we got Iron Man coming out, Thor, and Ant-Man," and I'm like, "Yeah, we didn't get Ant-Man for years after when we get the other ones." And apparently this was in production, but then Iron Man 2 came out, the first Avengers came out, and they were like, okay, Edgar Wright, you have to connect this movie to the rest of the series. It can't just be a standalone movie. And he didn't like the fact that they wanted this movie to be part of a group. He wanted this to be a movie you could watch without having seen anything else. And I think that kind of led to him eventually leaving the project. But I do know all the cast that we have, Paul Rudd, all that was gotten by Edgar Wright.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of funny because even after all that, this still feels like it could have stood on its own with just... It only has a few mentions to the rest of the... You don't
need to know stuff.
It's really standalone. It's funny you mentioned that there really are no mentions. I mean, there's a few mentions, big ones, obviously, towards the middle there of the Avengers and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But really, it could. Yeah, this could totally stand on its own. And I like it for that. It's just got this own little separate thing. And of course, it's brought into the main MCU, and especially in the second one, from what I understand. I did not see the second one, so I'm interested in the Wasp. But yes, this series will change that. And yeah, so that's interesting that you say it was designed to, or they wanted to be a standalone. That's interesting.
And before we jump into the movie, I also want to say Edgar Wright didn't direct my favorite movie of all time, which will be on the show once we finish this, probably.
Oh, he directed my favorite movie.
Scott Pilgrim?
Is that Scott Pilgrim? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I love Scott Pilgrim.
It's been so long. I saw it theatrically. It's been so long. I'm afraid I'm not going to like it now. I'm afraid
I watched it.
I'm afraid. I'm nervous.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I watch it every few weeks. So
really, every few weeks. I have not seen it since I saw it in theater. I mean, yeah. Wow. All right.
Remember, that's how I felt about Age of Ultron, and it turned out that I was still right. So
exactly. No, that's exactly what I was thinking about. I was thinking about you and Ultron.
Speaking of Edgar Wright, Mike, realized we had like a 10-hour gap between recording attempts, and I still didn't watch that video you sent us. I totally forgot about it.
Neither did I. Neither did I.
It's okay. It's been a hell of a week for us, all three of us.
Yeah.
So this, I don't know if it was when I watched it on Disney Plus that I missed it, but I know this movie starts off with Hank Pym, played by Michael Douglas in 1989, but I didn't see it say the year anywhere in this.
They do. They say it's 89.
Yeah, it's in my notes, so they must say it. What they don't do, they don't have the Marvel logo. They don't have anything. You just cut straight to an exterior shot of the shield where they are.
Okay. Yeah, there was no title card, was there, for this movie?
At the very, very end.
Oh God, I must have been really into this movie because I don't remember it, and I usually keep track of that stuff.
Yeah, it's very, very at the end.
Okay, wow. I think I was actually into this movie more than I thought I was. Okay, yeah, I don't remember that. I mean, I just remember the opening, like where he starts off in the building. I do kind of like that. I like seeing Hallie Atwell again because I just like seeing her. Mm-hmm. And you have the guy that played Tony Stark in Iron Man 2. You have him again. Like I think that was cool how they did that.
Howard Stark.
Yes, I just don't remember the actor. Oh, I said the wrong thing, didn't I?
Yeah, you said Tony. That's okay.
Oops.
You did say. Oops. Sorry. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh well, but yeah, I liked how they brought the actor back for Howard Stark. I thought that was cool. Like and then you have the other guy who's has no real purpose, but just there.
Gets punched in the face.
Yeah, the punch face guy who does show up throughout the movie and really doesn't do it. Well, he's the same guy who ends up making the big purchase, right?
He's involved
Mitchell
with Hydra.
Carson, according to IMDb.
Okay, great, cool.
So we got a DH Michael Douglas, and then aged makeup on Agent Carter and Howard Stark.
Yes.
Oh God.
In the same shot. He looked good. He looked all right.
Yeah, pretty believable. I'm curious how they did it. It was just your standard CGI de-aging, Vaseline of the lens kind of thing.
So this other guy we mentioned, this Carson, is he old or is he de-aged in this shot or is he aged up in the future shots?
I would say they just put makeup on him in the future shot.
Yeah, like I was thinking about it when he came back around. I'm like, I wonder if he was one of the de-aged people.
I don't I think it was just Michael Douglas.
He looks fairly young.
It was mainly Michael Douglas they put all the money into because, I mean, again, you don't have a choice with Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
He's kind of old at this point.
He's up there.
The effect looked pretty good, though. He didn't look too different from when he was in the game.
I know what you're talking about, unfortunately.
I've never seen it all the way through.
It's a good movie.
I've never seen it either. Never seen it.
Check it out someday.
Yeah. Add it to the list.
Not this list, but... Yeah,
not this list, just your personal list of never-ending things you need to do. The never-ending list of media you need to consume.
Oh, I have multiple lists on my phone, so you're not that far.
Oh, wow.
And I like how it starts off with, it shows you Hank Pym, and you talking about how they want the Ant-Man suit or the Pym particles or something like that they're complaining about. And I like how it starts, and then it jumps to present day, and all of a sudden it jumps to a whole other character in prison, which is Scott Lang, who is the second Ant-Man, for those that don't read comics.
I was very confused when I saw this. I'm like, I know Hank Pym. Who is this other guy?
Scott Lang.
Okay.
A book that wasn't expensive until this movie came out.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I saw the book, and I almost bought it a few times, but it jumped up in price after he was never he wasn't a big character. I mean, he's Ant-Man for a long time, but anytime you have another character take over, a previous character, people don't care as much. But when you make a movie about him, kind of jumps up the value a bit.
That would do it.
So,
so look, before we get into kind of like this whole intro, how do we like Paul Rudd in this? Are you guys Rudd fans? No, kind of, sorta.
Yeah, I know. I had seen him in Friends before this, but I don't even think I knew who he was until this movie, unfortunately.
I can't remember what else I've seen. I know I've seen him in other movies, but I can't even think of one right now. But I like him in this.
I've seen him in things since then. My favorite thing about him is every time he's on Conan O'Brien, he's to show off a movie, he always shows the same clip from an old 80s movie called Mac and Me with a weird alien. It's good. Look up a supercut of it. It's really funny.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
I have seen it. He was in Night Museum, I guess. I've never seen that.
Well, he's been in a lot of the Judd Apatow movies. He was in Anchorman, 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I've seen him in that, Anchorman.
I always forget that's him. Yep. So he's a big Judd Apatow guy. So I remember from just what was it? Dang it! Wet Hot American Summer. That's
Yeah, I saw that after this.
That's
God, he's been in a lot of movies.
Oh,
I just
yeah,
looking at
he's
his
been
thing. Like, damn.
He's the kind of guy that's always around, but you don't recognize it's him because he's kind of just he's like actor guy, but he's very good, but he's just actor guy. So he kind of just fades into whatever he's in. So I never know that until I look at the big list and go, oh yeah, like you just said, Michael. I'm like, oh okay, sure.
And the only movie I know him from is Anchorman.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, he's a good actor, and he plays this part. He's very well cast. So Edgar Wright did a wonderful job in casting him for this role because he's very balanced. This movie, as you know, or if you've seen it, or as you should see it, it's very lightweight. Like there's no depth to anything. Everything's painted in very broad strokes. Mr. Scott here he's painted to be a likable thief with a heart of gold, right? That's his character. You can write it on a fortune cookie. Thief with a heart of gold. Here you are, Mr.
And
Rudd.
they make sure to stress that every chance they can.
Over and over again. And almost too much. Like, we get it. He's a nice guy. Get it. But, and he's very good for that because he's just affable, has a kind face. He just kind of seems like a really good dude. And it works out well for this type of role. Even the villains, as we'll see, are completely one-dimensional, one-noted, almost nonsensically so. But again, given the lightness of the source material and just kind of the nature and the fun of it, it's fine. But he's very good in this. He nails this role pretty well. Even though he's not given, he doesn't have a ton to do emotionally or, from an acting perspective. He still does a very good job.
Yeah, and I liked it. Even like the beginning, how you meet him when he's in the prison, kind of like doing a little beat up scene, and you find out just how like the little ceremony. And I had forgotten, but I was so excited when Luis pulls up Michael Pena in the van. I was like, I've been waiting for this. I've been seeing memes all over the damn place with this scene. I remember this joke, and he's like, they get in the van, they're driving back to wherever the hell they're coming from jail, and he's like, oh yeah, my mom died. Yeah, my dad got deported. He's like, oh my girlfriend cheated on me, but I got the van. And it just, I've always loved that. And there's been so many memes that have come out for 2020, even though there's a good chance you're hearing this, it might be 2021, thankfully, hopefully. And because I probably won't. And like one of the memes I have is like, so how was 2020? Oh, World War III almost started, and Australia was on fire, and this killer virus spread and stopped the whole world, but we got $1,200.
Yeah, that goes on for a while.
It's very good. I was going through the whole movie struggling with his name. Like, what is that actor's name?
I only know it because he's also in one season of Narcos Mexico.
Okay.
One season because he plays a historic character, and if you know your history, it doesn't go so well.
Well, I remember him from the main one, from Crash. From back in 2004.
The movie with all the stars you can cram into one movie.
Yes, and all the worst best picture and winner ever in history. Maybe it's a good movie. It's fine. It's fine. It's a perfectly fine movie. But yeah, he has that incredibly emotional scene. He's very good actually in that movie. Very good.
He's in the live action Dora the Explorer movie.
I do want to watch
Silence.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yes. Not wrong.
I almost said, does he play Dora? I don't know. I could.
I know. I saw him in the trailer.
Like, hey, he's her father. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, he's in The Martian too. Now I'm looking at things. He
can play serious roles. Like if you ever watch Narcos Mexico, he plays a serious role in that. And like I said, he plays a person from history, Kiki something. But if you know your history, things don't go so well for Kiki, unfortunately. But it's cool. Like this guy can act. Like this guy can play. I mean, he plays a complete just goofball in this movie, but he can act.
Yeah, it's good. It's again comedy. A comic foil, if you will, I guess. And he's good. He's very fun, affable, lighthearted. Obviously all of these people in his crew, as we're going to meet, are criminals, but they're enjoyable. They're fun to watch.
The three wombats, as Hank Pym puts it later.
Yes, the three wombats is very good.
I did like that joke. I mean, this movie just starts off as funny as hell. I mean, you have the Baskin Robbins part where he's working at Baskin Robbins, and then the guy's like, "Oh, can you come back here?" And I mean, it's stupid, but I do like how you have the first guy come in, he's like, "I'll take a burger." Like, we're Baskin Robbins. Like, okay, I just want something hot. He's like, "We're Baskin Robbins, got ice cream." He's like, "Okay, I'll take a taco." And he's just like, "Can someone help this idiot?" And for a guy who works in retail, that's not that far. I worked at Burger King one time, and I had people come in saying, "Hey, I want a taco," and I'm like, You're at Burger King. Isn't this Taco Bell?
It's funny because they actually have tacos now.
Oh, yeah. Baskin Robbins?
No, Burger King does.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah, they did some. Not the one I worked at, but I just remember. And the thing is, Taco Bell wasn't even that close. Like, we weren't right next to it. It was down somewhere else in this little Hickville town I was working at. And the guy was just, well, I mean, when you're on the edge of the cities, and yeah, I had everyone that came through my Burger King was high on something. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean,
my wife still works retail, so I get to hear all of her fun stories.
People are people. People are people. They're just, hey, what are we gonna do about it? It's all this kind of building up of his character. It is a lot of layering, like layering it on thick. Like, again, affable guy. All everything is leading up to kind of the point where we'll get to there. Well, it's leading up to a certain point in the film. Yeah, I'm fine with this. I really like his sleazy boss. Like,
oh my god, this guy.
They found the greasiest, slimiest person. And sir, if you're out there listening, if you're just out there trolling low-level podcasts for information about this movie that you're in, you're probably a really good dude. You are. I'm sure you're a good guy. I'm sure you're not problematic or anything. Man, you are greasy. And that's a skill. That's a skill. I'm not greasy, but wow, they really did cast that perfect.
It's funny. After he fires
he's good.
Him, he's
like, very funny. He's good.
If you want to grab a smoothie, it'll be. I'm completely unentertainable, but I won't say anything. I won't call it. Like, it's hilarious. And he's like, "Ah, man, you stuck it to him, man. You stuck it to him, but we gotta fire you."
And this is a good opportunity to. I'm sorry, Michael. There's a good opportunity here to give you the backstory. Right? We need to learn the backstory of why was he in jail? They don't, because remember, Michael Pena does not say why Scott was in jail, right? They're jail buddies. Oh, they're in jail. Okay. Why was he in jail? Oh, clearly he was a burglar, right? This is how we're learning the backstory of Scott. And they're giving it to us in very small doses because they don't want us to lose the fact that he's a good guy, because he is our good guy. As you walked into the movie theater, you saw his face. He's the good guy. We all know this. This is not a surprise. So it's just kind of feeding us all his backstory slowly but surely, while still kind of developing the group of people he's going to eventually caper with. So yeah, it's very effective and very good.
Yeah, Greg Turkington apparently is the actor's name.
Yes.
Well,
I found it.
Okay, Mike just sent it in the chat too. I already had it pulled up.
Oh, beat me to it. And then the next thing in my notes I had was breakfast. I can't even remember what the hell. Oh, it's when Scott comes home and then they're like, hey, they're making pancakes or something. But again, it introduces the wombats, as we've been calling, as they call them. And yeah. I like these guys. Like I'm not big into comedies. I don't like most comedies. It's just not my style of movie. But this thing is like, these are dumbass characters, but they are hilarious for some reason.
Well, real quick, when he gets fired from Baskin Robbins, we're doing our fans a discredit if we don't mention that Baskin Robbins always finds out.
That's a good one. That was
a joke, all over the internet at the time the movie came out.
Oh yeah, really? I completely missed that bit. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I knew a guy who worked at Baskin Robbins, and I remember him bitching about how they would count all the cups, because the owner, there was a franchise, so she was like counting all the cups, count the spoons, but they didn't count the lid, so they would put the ice cream on the lids to eat the ice cream. So no one counted the lids.
Wow, that's weird. All right, that's very strange.
So. Yeah,
and it's funny. Just real quick before we talk about the breakfast scene and his team of, I'll say it, his team of good bros, because they are team of good bros. They you said a couple of times that this movie's hilarious. I don't think it's hilarious. I found it amusing. That's like the emotion, the comedic emotion I always got out of this was, I don't think I guffawed, which. I don't know why I just described the guffaw for everybody.
I'm not sure
in case you didn't know what a guffaw is, that's what that was.
I didn't.
Okay, well, there you go. A guffaw is a hearty belly laugh. It's a very amusing and charming and amusing and cute and sometimes clever. And I am very much so here for that kind of more laid back style of movie making and superhero-ing. Yeah. So it's funny you just mentioned how you kept saying it's hilarious. I'm like, I didn't get that from it, but still fun.
I laughed a lot.
It landed better than Avengers did.
Man, don't.
Listen. I mean, hey.
I'm still sad about that.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, so
It's like going back and playing Raccoon City and find out, hey, guess what? You weren't remembering it correctly.
Yeah, but you got to go back and realize how great Age of Ultron was, so it evens out.
Surprisingly. So I mean, I do love the Good Bros. Is now they're going to be called the rest of this movie, the rest of this podcast, and like, and I think the next, and then this is the one they're trying to convince him to. I think is this when they start talking about the job, or that? No, that's later.
Luis tries to bring it up, and Scott shuts him down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we get more of the backstory on Scott's crime, and he's just like, "What are you doing? Why are you throwing out my resume to these guys?" And I got to point out real quick, Kurt, the Russian guy. I'm like, this guy looks really familiar. So I pulled up his IMDb, and I didn't recognize him in anything. But he's going to be in the new Suicide Squad movie as Polka Dot Man, and I just felt like that needed mentioned.
Wow. Okay. I don't know the character, but yeah, I could see. I agree with you. I thought he had looked really familiar as well, and I was going through it before, and I thought I saw one thing. I should have thought about it before I said it. Anyway, he's done a lot of stuff. He's a character actor. He's been around the block a few times. Oh, he's in The Flash. He's in The Flash. He plays Abracadabra. I don't know who that is.
I don't know who it is either. I watched The Flash, most of it.
I don't think the rabbit ears on my TV actually gets the CW, so I no chance at all.
It's a pretty good show, but
I know people who like it. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, it's a cool little team. You got your hacker. You got the. I don't know what the other guy's role really was, other than drive the van.
He's the driver.
He's the driver?
I guess. I mean, he probably had to go through a course where you're inside a parking lot. You have to do a U-turn and all these tricks. A little time watch in the corner is keeping track before you can even. Yeah, that's probably how you get the job.
One of my favorite moments of the movie.
Seconds.
Oh yeah.
God, that freaking game.
Driver.
Mm-hmm. It's not great. It's notorious for having this really bullshit tutorial at the beginning.
Yeah, I never played it. Yeah.
That's okay. Keep it that way.
I don't need to. I'm not a racing thing.
I liked it when you have Pym first visiting the headquarters that says, Pym Technology, I think it was, or did I?
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like on
Labs. Yeah, Pym Labs or something.
I like all this. Like, I like when you have him come in there, you have Cross doing the whole presentation and talking about, and it kind of starts to give you that all background about what Pym does. I mean, I know what Pym does. I know who Pym is, but they start giving you the background about the shrinking thing, and they talk all about what the company, and they give you like a drop of the whole movie. Like, oh, here's his daughter, and here's his he's my apprentice. This is my apprentice, and he took over the company. I mean, it doesn't really show like how much he hates him, like how much these two characters hate each other at first, but it does a good job of like dumbing it down for the audience that might not know as much as some people do, and making it still entertaining. At least I thought so. I liked all this. I like the whole introduction to Yellow Jacket too. I don't think this is when you get the trailer for it, where he does like the whole marketing trailer, but I think you just see the suit, if I remember right.
He does the little marketing trailer. I have some notes written on that because it just made me laugh and cringe. I actually did have a chuckle at that one. But yeah, it's with Michael Douglas's introduction here. He already was introduced, of course, in the beginning, but now
young Michael Douglas,
right? But now as he's older Pym, is it Hank Pym?
It's Hank Pym.
Yes. Hank Pym. Okay. Yeah. As I just kept saying Pym, but I figured that was right. So as older Hank Pym, I really love how he walks into that. The first thing that happens, he walks in through the security, and he said, "You have ID?" And he points to the painting.
Oh, yeah.
Like, perhaps this will suffice.
Yeah. Oh, and no one's seen him for years, and everyone's really surprised that he's there. And man, does Michael Douglas command a screen. He is very, very good in this movie. He has a couple of scenes that are pretty outstanding, to be honest. And I think he's probably the best actor on the screen whenever, at any time he's on the screen. Oh, yeah. And it's a really cool introduction. Again, we're getting all the backstory. It's the minute you see Darren, he's bad because he's bald and wearing a nice suit. And I guess if you're bald and wearing a nice suit, dude, you're pretty good chance you're a bad guy, right?
Yeah,
so
I think Lex Luthor ruined that look for everyone.
Exactly. No more suits for us bald guys. We gotta. That's it. It's anything above sport coat, and we're doomed. So, but yeah. So he's it's a good scene. And then the guy who plays Darren I remember him from House of Cards.
Same.
Yeah, and he's very good actor.
Yeah,
he's another one who's been around for a while. So
also.
He does very good with the very little emotional work he needs to do. He just has to be bad. His fortune cookie said, "Villain, you are the bad guy. Here you are. Do bad guy thing."
I had forgotten, but also when they were doing like that whole, he's showing old declassified footage of Ant-Man when Hank Pym, to kind of sell, and I think he even says "Tales to Astonish," which is what Ant-Man first appeared in.
Is it? I have a funny feeling. I'm like, is that a reference?
It's a reference.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, I gotcha.
I unfortunately don't have the right tab pull up to give you the year when Ant-Man came out, but I can tell you it's a long time ago.
Yeah, sounds like the kind of thing that be introduced very, very early in the golden age of comics, I guess, as they call it.
Yeah, it would have.
And I really do like that video of the propaganda video. There's one line in here I wrote down. It says, I don't remember the line. Basically, it's like we're here to keep peace by blowing things up really, really loudly and very well. And all of like the weird propaganda words it uses to kind of hide the fact, but not really, that this is really a very bad idea. That's very invasive. That could be. It shows a little scene of a fake cartoon Ant-Man going to a briefcase, like for corporate espionage.
Oh yeah.
Like, whoa, this is all not good. Hey, bad guy, you got to get a better marketing person to paper over the fact that you really are just a super duper villain. Yeah, it's a very good scene, very effective. There's also another, very quickly, one moment where Hank sees the new logo. It says, what's the guy's last name?
Cross Industries or something like that.
Cross Industries, and because that's what he's going to rename it to. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. And he kind of just, this look on Hank's face was like, you son of a bastard. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Oh, and Ant-Man was first published in 1962.
Oh, wow.
So, long time ago.
Pretty early on.
Yeah, he's an early character. He's also one of the original Avengers.
Yep.
Ant-Man and Wasp are.
Yeah, Wasp actually named the Avengers.
Oh, yeah. And he was also, like, apparently, originally they were going to have the Ultron be created by Hank Pym, but because of Edgar Wright didn't want Ant-Man to be associated much with the other movies, that's why it was Tony Stark that created Ant-Man, or not created Ultron.
Makes sense.
Yeah, no.
Speaking of Wasp, this is also our introduction to Hope and her stupid haircut. Her velvet dinky haircut. Oh, Evangeline Lilly is a beautiful woman, and she's as far from Kate on Lost in this movie. I've never been a fan of the little bob weave or whatever she's got going here.
It
doesn't do her any favors. They fixed it in the sequel.
It's kind of like the Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction thing, right?
Oh,
Is that right? Yeah. I don't know. It did not bug me for a second. Interesting. Okay. So Thor's face and her hair.
I didn't like her hair either. Nor did my wife. Well, it wasn't just Mike.
I can ask my wife after this. We're like, "Hon, what'd you think of Hope's hair?" She's probably like, "Oh God, it sucked. I'm sure it was terrible. I don't know. I think it was bad."
Oh, she was also in Freddy vs. Jason, and then she was in the Hobbit movie, 2 of the Hobbit movies. Okay, I like her in Lost too. That's mainly where I know her from. And then she's also in an episode of Smallville, a couple episodes. But okay, I'm gonna stop reading her filmography here. But no, I like her as an actress. I like her in this movie. I besides her hair, I think she does a fine job. Like when you first meet her, you kind of get the idea that she hates Hank Pym, but you find out very quickly that Cross doesn't realize that she hates him, and that they're kind of like, I think one of her first things she says is she wants the suit. He mentions something about the suit because Cross is getting very close to perfecting Hank's technology, and they don't trust him, so and she wants that power, and he will not give it to her, which you don't find out till way later why he won't let her have a suit for her.
Yeah, it's interesting, and she's quite good in this. Again, and like everyone else, she doesn't have a ton to do. There's not a ton of lifting to do. She has a couple of scenes where she really has to like get into it and get emotional and things of that nature. And if she's fine, no real crazy opinions about her, but she was good.
I liked her, but
it's weird to see a movie where of course, it's weird to see a movie where the main protagonist, the hero, is the one with the least amount of stuff to do. Because Scott spends most of the movie as just an audience surrogate. He's asking all the questions like, "What the hell is going on? Why are these ants?" Yeah, well.
Well, he doesn't know. He doesn't know, right? He's us. I have it written down here somewhere, but he is us. He's asking the questions because we can't ask the movie the questions. The movie has to do that for us. You see, that's how it works. But yeah, you're right. It's exactly right. He's a surrogate. And now I'm thinking about it. Her appearance definitely was probably one of the more comic booky things in the movie as far as other than, ants crawling and flashing and all the rest of it. But to kind of seem like a comic booky thing, like something like a villain would do. So maybe you're still on the fence on whether or not she's, on the side of Hank or on the side of Darren. I don't know.
That's
Just
a good way
a
to put
thought
it.
that popped in my brain. It just seemed now I'm thinking about it. It's kind of comic booky.
I can kind of see it with the hair.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll bite.
Okay.
We just have to we gotta give some excuse for the hair. I'm like, okay, well, this is why she's got the hair.
Oh, I don't know.
Someone signed off on that.
Yeah,
Right.
someone said okay.
And it's a wig. It's a bad looking wig too, because it's.
Clearly, we're all fashion experts, so.
Indeed. Yes.
Hey, there's something. I mean, they changed it in the second movie, if I remember right. So.
Yeah. Yep, they did. She got long hair in that one.
Yeah, that's a sign. So enough of that. And then this is also where you have, the movie kicks back to Scott, and you have Scott at the birthday party, which I like this little scene. I mean, a little heartwarming scene. He goes to his daughter's birthday party. He's not supposed to be there. He gives her a really, really ugly little stuffed animal that she likes because it's from her dad as her hero, she's got to be what? Isn't she 7 or 8? I think. Did they ever say?
Probably 7. That's my guess is 7 based on
somewhere around there.
Okay, and he's been gone for 3 years, so she was 4 when he got put in jail then.
Makes sense.
Yeah, about that.
Oh, yeah.
And it sounds like it's she was probably old enough to have that connection, know who he was, and really miss him because she, the second he walks in, she's just Daddy, and she runs off to tell Mommy.
I like that part. It's like, you don't have to do that.
And yeah, she does. So
she's like, she spit out her drink. She's so excited. I liked it, and even though her fiance is kind of an asshole. I mean, because he's the cop that wants to arrest Scott and doesn't like Scott because of he was arrested. It's still, I found myself liking this part and everything just fine as the movie progressed.
It's really funny because all these characters come back in the sequel, and everyone's basically the same except for Paxton, who is total 180 on how he feels about Scott, which we kind of see at the end of this movie, but it's pretty heartwarming
When you
in the
have
sequel.
Civil War, because I mean, by the time you get Ant-Man 2, you had this movie, you had Civil War, and then you have Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, because Civil War's next, isn't it?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That'll be a 3-hour episode again.
Oh yeah.
That'll be long. But but Dan, this is more of the movie saying, hey audience, he's a good guy. He's nice. He's there for his kids. He's doing the best he can in some rough circumstances. He's trying to get back on his feet so he can be with his daughter. He's a good guy, everyone. Just remember this.
It works. And then you have the scene where he gets kicked out and he's saying goodbye to her and he hits the horn, which it's a stupid thing, but it serves a purpose for later in the movie to make a plot move.
Oh, not just this movie.
Is it in the second movie too?
It's an Endgame.
Oh.
Yes, I think you're right. Oh, yeah, you're right. It is an Endgame. It's very crucial.
Yeah, it's pivotal.
I don't remember it in Endgame.
pivotal.
I haven't seen Endgame in theaters.
We'll get there eventually.
I know.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
right.
the horn plays La Cucaracha, so it's very distinct.
I like that, and I like the fact that it has a payoff just in this movie too, where he hits the horn, he's driving off, he hits a stupid song. Like, it's something that just feels like a comedy part, but actually has a purpose for what they're doing in the movie. So I really like that.
Right. Then we flash back to Darren talking
to
Frank.
Goodbye, Frank.
Oh, Frank, we hardly knew you.
But again, this is just one of those scenes to make the bad guy be a bad guy, where he's because Frank is one of these buyers that came to buy the suit, and he's like, we can't just do what we want. So he just shoots him with a shrink ray.
He turns him into goop.
Which was pretty stunning. And again, this is the movie going, hey, audience,
this guy's bad.
This guy's bad. This guy's no good. Just here.
Goop this guy.
He's gooped him. He just gooped the guy. And I of course, I giggled. Of course I did. My wife had like a look on her face like, that's not good. And he wipes. The grossest part of that was he wipes him up with like a paper towel. That was gross. I was
flushes him down the toilet.
Flushes him down the toilet. Wow. Pretty gross. Unremorseful, unrepentant.
But again, it shows him that he's the bad guy. It shows that how cold he is. I mean, because to kill someone just like that and to be okay with it, like, to flush him down the toilet, I mean, it would take a certain kind of heartless person.
Well, he's got Pym juice in his brain, messing around, messing with his molecules.
Not yet.
I feel like Hope makes, maybe it's not yet that she makes the comment.
Not yet.
It's way down the line. Like she tried, and that's a thing I think the movie could have done a better job with, is she way towards the end tries to paper over his crazy. It's almost as if someone's writing it and goes, ooh, we have to explain this because right now this guy's like mustache twirling evil villain guy, and we don't really have a good reason. Oh, this the pim juice in the brain.
That's later. That is
She
when he
says
starts
it.
shrinking.
She says it, kind of papering over this, but
Yeah,
Go
he
ahead.
hasn't
Sorry.
shrunk yet.
No, but it's definitely before that she says it.
Yeah, something about experiments and things like I don't know. There better be a reason because there's no reason why he needs to be murderous to the one guy who says, I'd love to spend $1 billion on your product, but I got some questions. Oh, really? Goop. Like you didn't have to go through all that, brother. You could just heard him out, or you could have just said, "No, you don't." Then you don't buy it. That's great. I have 80 more buyers.
Yeah, it does feel like a scene where you just need the bad guy to be a bad guy.
Yeah, it's just, but it's kind of cool. It's from a visual perspective. I wasn't complaining about it.
He looks in the mirror and he's like looking at himself, and you're supposed to think, is he questioning what he did? And he's just like, just washes his hand, and leaves.
Yeah,
like okay, he's evil.
Good, excellent.
Yeah, make the bad guy a bad guy.
And then we go right from that to Cross at dinner, having a nice dinner with Hope.
Which again is more just showing, introducing these characters and showing you how they're kind of romantically involved in a way I felt like, but they're not.
No, but they have no connection. Again, this was a weird one for me too, because I couldn't quite get what they were trying to do with this, right? You have Hope and Darren at dinner. Darren is giving you his backstory and his motivation. Lots of telling in this movie. Lots of people telling you why they feel a certain way. I just wish he saw me as the son figure I thought I was, and I can't believe you never showed me how to do the Ant-Man thing. And him just constantly telling other people, lots of people telling other people the things that we should know about them so we care. Never quite works great because we should be learning about that through the things you do and through the things that happen. And don't tell me who you are. I want to learn about that as I experience you as a character on the screen. So a lot of this stuff's very ham-handed, and that's why there's not clear. It's like, are they dating? You're right. It's a fancy restaurants, beautiful lighting.
That's what I thought. But the more I think about it, they never kiss. They never show anything. There's nothing romantic shown, even if it's something that romantic, like it didn't fit for Bill, like Natalie Portman. But there was nothing there. So it kind of was like a situation where the bad guy just hates. They both hates your father. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna just have you on my wing because we hate the same person.
Yeah, it's more like a professional relationship.
Yeah, professional confidant, and he also knows, she's his daughter, so maybe there's info he can get out of her if he's trying to be manipulative. But the film is never really clear. Again, it's just a scene where two people sit in a restaurant for 30 seconds and tell you backstory and motivations. So, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's only 2 hours long. They could have crammed some more in there.
Yeah,
this movie's just long enough.
It is. It actually is.
It doesn't overstay its welcome.
That's a good thing. That's actually a very good thing.
And then it's right after this you get the first Louise story, which you only get two of them. I think
just two.
Yeah, there's just two. But just before that, we see Scott sitting in the van trying to figure out how he can get all these things that his ex-wife told him that he needed before he can see Cassie on a regular basis. And that's what 300 and something. But that's what pushes him over the edge to take up Luis on his tip.
I love this where it's like, okay, so this, my God, you know how I like these certain paintings, right? Like, get to the point, Luis. Like, I love how that actor just keeps going off in random tangents like this podcast. It's great. Like it is so great. They got to keep like, hey, get to the story. What has he got? It's like, oh yeah, and each person that's talking is in his voice, but their mouth is moving, but it's always everything his voice. It's hilarious. Still funny.
Some people wanting before Endgame came out, they want a big MCU recap done in that style.
I would love that. I always call that the drunk history style of thing. If ever guys ever watched
Drunk History? I have not.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay. The drunk history is basically I guess describe drunk history. Basically, they get celebrities and comedians usually, and they get them extremely hammered to black out hammered. And then they tell you a historical story, like the story of Abraham Lincoln or the story of women's suffrage. And as they're telling this story, they'll cut back and forth between them on a couch, slurring this story, horrendously slurring it, getting things wrong, and then actors miming along to what that person is saying.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
It's glorious fun. There's a bunch of free ones on Hulu if you have it. definitely check it out. It's very, very funny. And that reminded me of that everyone's kind of miming along to what the other person is actually saying. Very funny, very good, a very clever way of delivering this information. And it's good too, because none of the information you really need. You only need the end result, which is what is the job. So this is all just kind of flavor. Just a fun little ride. You don't have to worry about who's who and what and which writer and this person and that guy at the ball game. It just happens, and it's very great. It's really fun.
It's good. I mean, they only do it twice in the movie. I thought it was more in this movie, but it's both times are fucking hilarious. Both times I was laughing my ass off. Like I said, I really enjoyed this movie. But
I was extremely amused. I was highly amused.
Maybe amused is more, but I'm gonna go with laugh my ass off.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, fun. Good. Should have fun.
It was nice to have fun for a movie. So that's not what's happening every episode that we do in this show.
It's August of 2020. There's terror around every turn. Have fun, please. Laugh. Enjoy yourself.
2020 just keeps getting worse all the time. I'm just like, fucking A, 2020.
You're revisiting these movies back to back. You see that there are very few movies like this that just shut your brain off and have fun.
Yeah, there won't be another one for a while. So
I'm trying to think of another one that's not like this. Yeah, I agree. And
you get the next funny movie is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but that's not a funny movie.
Well, that one's written to be a comedy. This is written to be a lighthearted action adventure film, right?
Yeah, which I like more.
Yeah, so.
And I also like this is when you have the planning, when you have the three wombats get together, or the good bros, and they're planning how they're going to raid Hank Pym's house. I like this. I like them getting all together, doing this, or talking about what they're going to do and what they need, and all that's very entertaining. Because again, this movie, in the heart of this movie, was supposed to be a heist movie, which it kind of has. Like in the second half, is when you have a heist. This is the early heist in the movie where you have the planning, you have them then burglarize into Hank Pym's house. I enjoy the scene a lot where he's climbing up the windows and getting in the house. Like This is very amusing to me.
It definitely made me want to watch other heist movies like the Ocean's trilogy.
Yep. I love a great heist movie, and I doubly love a well-made heist montage where they're planning and executing at the same time. There's something really great for me when they do that properly, and you can keep track of everything going on. And it's important when you're doing a heist thing, because they do it also later on when they actually have the big heist. But with the minor one, it's important because as the audience, there's a lot involved with this, and you can't just get the information dump. Because let's be honest, the entire movie so far has been one big information dump. Like that's all it's been. So you can't just have the plan and then do it, because you won't remember. But if they do it while they're planning, you can kind of see that the screws turning and all the good things happening. It's excellent. Very well done. I wrote it in my notes. I said, smart guys doing smart things.
Yep.
When Scott's getting the fingerprint and freezing the safe, I have smart Scott doing smart things.
There it is. That's it.
I mean, it's a good scene.
Great.
Because he mentions earlier on that he's got like an engineering degree or something to that effect.
Electrical degree.
Yeah.
Master's in electrical engineering, yeah.
Like, I'm sure I can land on my feet, and that's when it cuts to him in Baskin Robbins.
Yeah, which is a good setup for that. It's very interesting, too, because he, all of it is really very, very thoughtful. I put in my notes, he's MacGyvering his fingerprint.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty good.
It's really, really very fun. And seeing him succeed, because, again, we have our placard in front of us. He's a good guy. So, yes, we know he is. Seeing the good guy succeed and doing something that is wrong. That's a key here, because the movie really is trying very hard to cement good guy in us, right? And because he is now going to rob somebody. He is going to steal something from a rich person. And even though you may say, well, a rich person, who cares? It's still theft. It's still a crime that he's committing. Our lead is committing grand larceny. he's cat burglaring. He's breaking his parole, And so you need to have all that goodwill built up before it goes on this heist. So when he does it, you like him. And it's Paul Rudd. You can't not like Paul Rudd. He's just a likable, funny kind of dude. So it's the good payoff for all the work the movie has done up to this point to get where we can get behind someone doing a bad thing. Like a heist movie, like Ocean's 11. There's so much time making us love these cool criminals and these cool, interesting characters, and then they go and rob somebody, which is illegal and bad. But in this case, it's good because it's fun and we like those people. So
I also like the whole part when he gets to the safe. He's like, "Oh, it's made out of the same material as the Titanic." Like, and they make a comment about, "Well, that worked out well." I like that.
What
He
is
freezes it.
Yeah,
It's good.
It's very good.
And he gets the safe open. They're like, "There's no money in here, no jewels, just a biker suit." And I love their defeat. They're like, "Oh, I thought there'd be something good in here." And again, I mean, we know what it is because it's the Ant-Man suit, and he takes the suit. I mean, I guess you just broke a safe. You might as well leave with something,
right?
And the suit redesign looks so much better than the original, especially the helmet, which we see in Endgame, I think, an early prototype of it.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I can say it has. This is not the first live action Ant-Man we ever get. It's the first Marvel live action.
Yeah.
Ant-Man. You know,
we'll talk about that shortly.
Okay, we're almost there. We're almost got a little bit, but we're getting there. Since I brought it, I'll bring it up. There's a part where he crashes on a car a little bit later, and the guy in the car is a comedian. I can't remember his name, but he was in Saturday Night Live. He played an Ant-Man.
Yeah, it was like Superman's funeral or something, or he plays Ant-Man.
So yeah,
you just sent that on the Skype there.
That is
not good. No.
Yeah, that's the original helmet.
Yep, it's not great. It's got like the weird antenna coming out and all that.
I think you're right too. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure you're right about what you said about it being in the second movie.
Yeah.
I just have no recollection of it.
Yeah, it is an Endgame when it shows when Tony's breaking into S.H.I.E.L.D. It's on a table there.
Oh, I can't wait to rewatch that and do that 5-hour episode.
Oh man, we're gonna have to split that one out.
I'm telling you, I know you keep saying no, but that's a lot of
Infinity War is gonna have to be 2, and that's gonna have to be 2 at least.
2 will be enough. Okay, but enough of that. And then it jumps back to when you have. You got to make sure the bad guy's the bad guy. So he doesn't just take a rat when he does experiment. He grabs a little lamb, brings the lamb in, and then kills the lamb by doing the experiment that doesn't work. And then I like how Hope's like, "Why do you have a sheep? Why don't you just have a mouse?" And he's like, "Just because."
What's the difference?
Yeah.
What's the So hey, here it is. So now a movie theater employee comes in with a big tray of placards that says he's the bad guy. Just keep this in front of you. In case you don't know now, he's a villain. Just keep that in your brain because
I didn't remember how much they hammer it in this movie.
Oh my god. Like, okay, we get it. He's a dick. Move on. Like, fine. What's next? Is he gonna start throwing babies out of windows? Like, what's going on with this man? He almost throws a little girl out the window. I guess that's the thing. But
he's a bad person.
But for just one-dimensionally so. But again, not every villain has to be Thanos or Ultron, right? I guess there's room in this world for just one-dimensional villains that do evil things, so our good guys can do even better things. So
and I do like the first time that you see Scott Lang he tries on the suit. He's in the bathroom and he's like, "Okay, what the hell does this do?" And he shrinks down. And this part is hilarious, where all of a sudden Hank Pym starts talking into his voice, and then you have the part where he's like, and he's all confused, and then you have Louise get into the shower and he strips down. He's like, "Oh, I don't need to see that." Like it's hilarious. Like you don't see anything, but it's hilarious. It's funny. I was laughing again.
He gets washed out of the tub. We get to see a little bit of the density where he hits the bathroom tile and it cracks just from that small fall.
I like that because again, foreshadowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it does a lot of work, this scene, and this is the first scene, obviously, where he shrinks down, and this is the first part where I think the real joy of the movie is.
Oh yeah,
easily. And obviously, right, this is what everyone's here for. Everyone is here in the theater to see Ant-Man get small and do. Small people do small things. I mean,
small guy doing big things.
There you go. Even better. Yeah, small guy do big things. But what I love about this movie, and my biggest takeaway from it as a whole, because it starts here, so I'll just say it here. It does a great job of recontextualizing everyday things, right? So when Scott shrinks down to the size of an ant. And now he's in this open expanse of a bathtub, like this cavernous expanse. It allows us to kind of play with things that we are used to seeing in a real scale. What can we do with this on a huge scale? So it's kind of recontextualizing things we already know. And I think that's really exciting and very interesting and fun. You know, the classic, I'm sure it's been in 100 reviews, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, you know, the action movie.
Might be in my
But
notes.
okay, yeah, cool. See, I mean, you know, it's obvious, and not saying you're obvious, but you know, that is an obvious comparison, and that's what's fun about that movie. It's taking everyday things and recontextualizing them through this scale, and letting someone we like have fun in this, not have fun, but work within this playground, and it's very natural. It's funny, the first moment of CG when they start shrinking down into the drain and then it pulls back, I had Fight Club vibes, because the style of animation seemed very similar to that, and that movie's CG has not held up terribly well over the years, and it wasn't great here. I was like, oh, is this just not going to be? And that was the only time it felt weird or forced or anything like that. But it's just fun, and a lot of this opening stuff is Scott going on a ride. He has no idea what he's doing with this thing. He's just running and surviving the stomping of giant clear stilettos and rave dancers and everything else, and it's fun. It's very, very fun, and a sign of good things to come, because they honestly do just get better and better as it progresses.
We get a little foreshadow into the rave when he's coming home for the first time. You can hear the music and see the people waiting outside the door, and then when he falls through the crack in the bathroom, he ends up like Bill said, just trying not to get stomped on.
And this is, I like that. And this is also when he ends up falling through that, and then he sees a rat, and that's when he lands in the car, which has that guy Garrett Morris is that guy's name that I was talking about.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I have no idea who he is, but apparently he's in Two Broke Girls, and so is Bill's favorite character from the Thor movie, Darcy. So if you watch Two Broke Girls, Kat Dennings is there.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, she's in Two Broke. I've never seen it, but I've heard it's actually.
I'm not surprised.
It wasn't because of her. I mean,
no, I know.
I'm sure she's a perfectly fine actress. I just, Thor 2 wasn't my thing.
Yeah, Thor 2. What was that? I don't remember that movie. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think that was anybody's thing.
And I do like it how after he figures out what the suit can do, he's like, fuck this shit, and he takes the suit and breaks back in the house, put the suits back, and then gets the cops called on him and gets arrested. He's like, I wasn't stealing anything, I was returning what I stole. Oh shit. Like, I like this. This is hilarious. Me again, I was laughing. I laughed a lot during this movie, I realized. That's nice. A nice change of pace. I also watched this movie in like one sitting. Like, I didn't have to get up and do other things. I just kept watching this movie, even when Disney Plus said, "No, you're taking a break." So, I guess and I like it when he gets arrested. He's in jail, and you have the Cassie's soon-to-be stepfather be like, "Hey, I thought you tried to change and you couldn't do this," and kind of rallying him. And he's like, "Oh, you have a visitor," and he's like, "Who? You're a lawyer?" He's like, "My lawyer," and it ends up being Hank Pym. And I like when he's sitting in the room talking to him about the suit and how he wants him to. Like, somebody only gets so many chances, and you see ants crawling on the camera screen so they can't see the camera. But
yeah, which is super weird and very good. My question with that is like, why would they let this guy in? It didn't make quite much sense why he was there, or how they let him into this jail cell and that sort of thing.
If you act like you belong somewhere, sometimes people just do things without really thinking about it.
Yeah, that's fair. He's a famous guy, Yeah.
So if you can command the power and you command like you are a lawyer, they might they're gonna fall for it. So that's kind of how I took it. So it was I liked it, and then this is also when you have him escape because he puts on the suit. Or wait, no, you have Cassie in bed holding a little stuffed animal that he gave her, saying that it's her favorite, and then they don't really want to tell her that Scott's committed a crime again, going back to jail all over again. And this is when I do like that part where he's sitting in the cell, the little ants drag in the suit, and all of a sudden they just start counting numbers, and it goes from like 10 to 8. He puts on the suit and it's 4, and I gotta say, damn, he put that suit on fast.
I thought the same thing.
I'm like, that is a little too quick to put on that suit, I feel.
I mean, I know it's perfectly tailored for your body type magically somehow, but I mean, wow, that's really it's kind of tight too.
He had been watching him while he was in jail. So maybe
true?
He had the ants come in and tailor him while he was sleeping,
And I want to jump back real quick. I meant to mention this the first time we see her on screen. Maggie's mom, who was played by Judy Greer. She's great. I really, really like her work in this. And she has very little to do, but I love that idea of a mom who's just trying to make the best of a bad situation. And she's not mean. She's not evil. She doesn't want Scott at the birthday party, for example, because he's a bad guy. It's not good for the daughter. It's too confusing. You got to call. We got to prepare her. We got to let her know you can't just show up. Which is
I like that.
I think she's great. I know she's she lets her boyfriend be the jerk. Boy, is he a jerk, man. Get out of here. But he's, which is fine. But she's very good. I just wanted to point it out because she has a moment here too when she's with her daughter, kind of explaining things, and it's like, wow, yeah, that's a good piece of acting. It's good.
Yeah, because Cassie's like, is Daddy a bad man? And she's like, Daddy gets confused sometimes.
Right. It's very good, and also she has that line earlier, "Be the hero she thinks you are." Is it kind of calls back later on. Just wanted to point it out. She's very good, and in a little minor role.
Yeah, and Cassie's adorable.
Oh yeah, I mean, forget it. Yeah.
Yeah, she does a good job. That girl does a good job. So, and then you have the ant escape. Like I enjoyed all this where he's trying to he shrinks down, he gets on the ant, he's running out of there, falls into the sewer. All this again, I was just enjoying the ride. And this is when you have Anthony when he names the ant.
Yes, he names.
Yes, 247.
247. Yep.
I like that. They don't have names; they have numbers. I'm going to call him Anthony.
You know how many ants I have?
It's a very cute, very kind of pure moment of, again, it's a little more character building, but again, extremely cute, very charming.
It's funny. Like, he's flying around, he's falling on the taxis, on the newspaper. Like, I liked it. Again, I was laughing and everything during the scene.
It's a little guy in a big world, so I'm sure this is Jeff Cork's favorite MCU movie.
Yeah.
If he listens to this, shout out to Jeff Cork.
Jeff Cork, my man.
And and I like how you have him flying to a certain point, and then he ends up fainting off the ant because he just can't handle what's
really good.
Sense.
Yep, he's just a guy.
I'm sure.
Just a guy. I love it. It's just again showing us, hey, he's not a superhero. He's frail. He's just a guy in a suit. A very good suit that's going to protect him and do all sorts of cool things. But again, we have someone who can use his intellect as well as the tools he's been given.
Yeah, because he has no powers. He just has a suit.
No. So it's a really good moment. I always put down it's his team of bug bros. I'm sorry. We don't have to say that ever again. That needs to come out of my brain. That need to leave. That need to come out of my brain.
Oh, and by the way, earlier when you had the buyers, one of the guys has a 10 rings tattoo on his neck.
No, really. All
so
right.
to tie it back to the original Iron Man movie, and they do at some point in this movie. They make a reference to Sokovia or Age of Ultron.
Sokovia, yeah. It's when they're talking about the Avengers later on.
Okay, he's like, should we call the Avengers? Like, aren't they busy dropping things on people or something like that?
Yep. Making a Avengers reference.
And this is also when Scott first meets Hope. Yeah. Using my Ant-Man here.
She's just standing there texting the foot of his bed. It's
like, I like
watching me sleep? It's like, yeah, last time you were here, you stole something.
Even though they let him steal it, like you find out it was all on purpose. Like they let him do it. They gave him the hint. Everything. It was all them because they were watching him.
Well, Hank did.
Oh yeah.
Find out that Hope's the one that actually called the cops on him when he brought it back.
Which is pretty good.
And then we see the giant ass bullet ants around the bed.
Nope.
Yeah, that's real nope.
Nope. Don't like that at all.
Yeah, that part is like, God, I would. And she's like, he's waiting for you, over here or something. And he's just like all tiptoeing around the ants and they're moving. And again, another part that I laughed at when they sit down, they're having the whole tea discussion. They're talking about what he wants and who he is and kind of thing. And he's like, "What do you want? Any sugar?" He's like, "Sure, I'll take some sugar." And all of a sudden, the ants start moving to sugar. He's like, "No, I'm good. I don't need any sugar."
They just dejectedly start pushing it back the other direction.
Yes, so funny, really good. It's really very cute, and yeah, those ants acted their antenna off. The ant, they were just marvelous.
Yes, that CGI really put it in there, huh?
It's good though. That was really well done. Yeah, it was great. Very funny. Yeah, just pushing a sugar cubes back, just turned right around.
He's like, "Oh, wait a second, you meant the ants are getting me the sugar?" No, I'm good.
I like Scott's line when Hope leaves the room. He's like, "Whose pajamas are these?" He's very concerned about whose pajamas he's wearing.
They never say, by the way, either.
That also means someone had to change them.
True.
Hope, I'm assuming.
I guess.
I wonder if she doesn't like him.
Hey! 2 shows, ladies and gentlemen. Tip your waitresses.
And I wrote down my notes. You have Pym Lab. I think this is off and on when they're talking about Call of the Avengers that was funny, by the way. And again, it makes sense because Scott's like, why are we sending me to go do this? Because at the same time, this is when Yellow Jacket or whatever the hell his name is, Darren Cross he ends up shrinking a sheep. He's perfecting to shrink the technology. And again, you see Hope getting upset all over again because, I mean, more and more you find out how Hope wants the suit. She wants to be the Ant-Man. She wants to go in there and infiltrate, and he just will not let her. And he's lying to her about what happened to her mother, and he just won't, like. And I don't know if this is the part, but at some point they tell you that the distrust they have between each other is because he's been lying to her all her life about what happened to her mother.
Is this where he snaps at her, where she keeps saying that she should be the one going in?
I can't.
That's later, because that's later when she retreats to the car and.
Oh yeah,
that's later. He doesn't snap at her.
Training.
Yes, after the.
I just wrote in my notes Ant-Man training.
Yes. Well, at this point, I mean, because hang on, I get my notes here. Sorry. Yeah. No, this is. I think is this the point too where Scott basically says, "Who are you? What am I doing? What's the story? Like, tell it to me straight."
Yeah. So right. He's got one question.
That's it. Yeah, one question. And that's when we get that whole Cross and the Pym sagas. We now know what their backstory is. A lot of this movie is set up. Again, like I said, we're about 40 minutes in and we're still setting things up. But luckily the payoff is, for the most part, really good. So it is worth it. And
the Ant-Man training, again, is another, like, all the little, like, where it kind of jumped back and forth. I enjoyed all that, too.
I also like... Oh, yeah, no, the train montage is great. I like the... I do like the part in this point where when he mentions the Avengers, Hank also says, "Wait, I'm not returning this to a Stark. No." It's like a bit of a call back to the original. So yeah, and I can't remember. And this might be the part where Daddy just yells at her and says, "No."
Yeah, it is.
And it's obvious. Yeah, I think you're right, and it's obvious because what happened is he doesn't want to lose her, and that's obvious from the beginning. And then obviously the movie tells us that because it's a movie, it's got to tell us that.
On the very first scene, the guy that Hank punches mentions Janet. He's like, "If only you'd protected Janet this ferociously or whatever," and that's what sets him off. So something happened to Janet.
Right. And you get the regulator talk where you never touch the regulator. And I like how he starts messing with it and he tells like, "Hey, you go subatomic, you never, oh yeah, you're right, we never touch it." And I like how he stops immediately. He's like, "Oh, we're done.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a good, I'm sorry.
I also like the comedy parts where he's underground with the ants when he's learning to talk to the ants and all the crazy ants swarm him. And he grows up big. He's like, "Well, that was a lot scarier a second ago."
It's funny that we're recording this week because the game Grounded just came out where you play... It's a survival game in a backyard where you're playing as these shrunken teens.
It's weird. That game came out months ago, Mike.
Well, as of this recording.
Yeah, there's lots of little fun things in this training montage. You get your obligatory shirtless hero moment, which is always, it's always fine. It's good. Hey, listen, nothing wrong with that. The man worked really hard to make that body happen. So
Marvel, they had to put it on there.
Loves those.
Yep, they do so. They do indeed, and it's like, all right, I'm fine. It's fine with me. But I always like pointing them out because they're very obvious.
Yeah, it was the only scene in this where he shows off his abs for no other reason than to show off his abs.
Yeah, he's nursing a bruise. Again, it's fun watching him get beat up by Hope. It's always
I do like that training when they're going back and forth. She just kind of beating the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Like that punch part. It's like, okay, show me a punch. He just punches him in the face. Like I like that.
And it does a nice job of proving that she probably should be in the suit. Like she's more than capable of doing the things that Hank needs to do. But again, he's not going to send his daughter into certain death. And I gotta get it. Again, like Scott says, he's expendable. He's like, no one cares about me. I'm expendable. You're not, clearly. So why are you still pissed off?
That whole backstory part and everything with that is really good too, to kind of show them getting closer.
Yeah, no, well, that's what I was gonna say too with the subatomic stuff. Is he's describing it, and at the time it seems kind of funny, right? Because he's kind of going off. You dip further and further into a universe where everything you know and everything you love and everything is just gone. And it's almost kind of funny because he's kind of going off like an old man would, and you're like,
he's an old man.
Okay, we get it. And then you realize, oh, that's what his wife did. So he's actually going off and remembering what happened. It's a nice moment that you remember because it's an effective moment of acting for Michael Douglas, but it's also a really good character beat that gets called back later that you can remember. You go, Oh, wow. That has a lot more weight now, as I recollect.
Yeah, because Scott's whole motivation through this entire movie is Cassie, because that's how Hank wins him over. He gives him the dad to dad speech, saying that this isn't about us. We're making the world better for them. And that's, like Bill was alluding to, that's kind of what gets Scott out of a jam later on in the movie.
Everything really does tie up nice. There's really not many loose ends to this. It's very well drawn in that respect. I'm just trying to think of other things. I thought it's very cute. They describe all the different types of ants and what they can do. So again, you got your team. Our good bros are coming back soon, but we have our good bugs, and we learn each what the 4 types do. I meant to do this before we recorded, and I forgot. Damn it! Because my sister is a zookeeper. She was a vet tech for a long time. She's a zookeeper. She knows a ton about animals. I want to know if ants doing with this sort of like kind of technology influencing thing could actually do some of the stuff they do. I'm curious if that's like not a thing they can actually do, or if that's just a cartoony comic book thing, which is fine either way. I was just curious. But I'm going through, I'm looking at the ants, and they're like, oh, there's the big ants, bro. There's the giant ants. Okay, hey ants. And then there's the fire ants, and I'm like, screw you. Y'all gotta go. Every little one of you bastards. I fight with you every weekend. I find another mound.
Oh yeah, I forgot you live in Texas.
I find, you know how many times my wife's extremely allergic to fire ants. She actually had to go on antibiotics because she, I don't know, I'm laughing. She got like caught by some fire ants, and she had her foot swelled up, and she had to get antibiotics and the whole thing. She's very, very allergic to fire ants. I've been bit numerous times by these bastards. I've murdered scores of them. So as soon as my wife and I saw fire ants, we were like, they gotta go. Get rid of them.
Oh, since you brought up fire ants, I have a story. I live in Minnesota, so I don't know what fire ants are. I shouldn't. But I would visit Georgia, and there was one time I'm walking barefoot down this pavement road, and I don't remember why, or I didn't see it or what. I stepped into a whole bunch of them crossing something. Yep. And I did not feel good after that. That was never again did I step on fire ants again after that.
They swarm fast too. You don't have to do much. You step on a mound, they are on you. And it's very accurate in the film because the film paints them that exact same way. Like they just come in swarms, and they're just swarmers and runners. Yep, and they're biters, and they will bite you instantly.
They don't like gasoline. I found out.
They don't like gasoline. They don't like. There's some chemicals you can throw on those mounds that take care of them pretty quick.
When I was in Georgia, my uncle at the time would put gasoline in the hole and light it on fire. I don't think that was the right way to do it, but that's what he would do.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's how you should deal with your rodent problems and your pest control. Your pest control shouldn't be throw some gasoline down there and light it ablaze.
Put gasoline down there. He's like, I'll kill him. I'm like, well, yes, it will, but...
Yeah, but you also have a whole root structure for your lawn. I'm sure you want it to look pretty. Anyway. But yeah, so the whole training montage is very good. There's lots of little cool moments. I don't have a ton more. All leading up, of course, to the final phase. I completely missed what they were trying to get and why. So I knew they were going to get a thing for the final piece because they needed one more piece.
It's some MacGuffin is the best way to put it. It's
is it? Okay, did they even say like
they say what it is, but it's a MacGuffin.
Like they need it for the final caper, but they don't say what it is.
I thought they said what it is. They show a picture of it, but I don't remember.
I must have missed it. I completely blew by it. I go to my wife. I'm like,
but
James,
what do they want? Right before that I want to mention is one, you have the Hope. You see Hope controlling the ants, like you were saying before, where it shows she should be in charge. You also get the Wasp backstory little scene where how she, as you mentioned too, where she dies in quotations, and then you have the part where they finally are planning to go get the thing from this old warehouse up in New Jersey, I think it was, or no, upstate New York.
Yeah. But Hope controlling the ants, as she's doing it, they start to like cover the light and dim it out. Hope's actually a villain for a time in the comics. It's the Red Queen.
Oh.
So seems like that's an allusion to that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw it on some YouTube video.
Okay, I was just saying.
I don't remember where, but I saw it somewhere.
Because when I heard you say Red Queen, I was thinking, you're all going to die down here.
No, not that one.
Okay.
It's interesting. That scene's actually pretty scary. It's kind of like almost had like a poltergeist thing going on where like the supernatural was happening. The ants were flying everywhere, flooding here. Her just getting mad. Yeah, it's cool. And that's when she departs really upset.
Yeah, well, this is when she finally finds out how her mother died, that she finally gets over because he'd been lying to her all these years, and it's all really good. It gives them the seriousness of the movie that's been mostly kind of jokey.
It's got room for it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then I do like when you have, like we were talking about, where he going to the that Stark warehouse, and you have the whole paradrop thing. He's like, this isn't no Stark warehouse, this is the Avenger headquarters. Like I like that.
It's great.
I had completely forgotten that this scene was in this movie till
So
somebody brought it up 2 weeks ago. We were
I don't know what you're
Ultron.
talking about.
Yeah.
I completely forgot too. I was very pleasantly surprised. It was really fun.
Yeah, I would have been pleasantly surprised if someone wouldn't have reminded me. Michael. So I like, he goes to Avenger headquarters. He's like, and then right away as he gets there, he ends up setting off an alarm, and I think he's on the roof when Falcon shows up. And he's like, "Hi, I'm Scott." And they're like, "Well, don't introduce yourself."
Did he just say, "Hi, I'm Scott"?
That's good.
Even before that, he's like, "It's okay, he can't see me." And Falcon's like, "I can see you." It's okay, you
Yeah,
can see me.
it's funny.
He just has no idea what he's doing.
Very lighthearted. Go ahead, sorry.
The fact that Falcon ends up pretty much getting his ass beat by Ant-Man, who doesn't know what he's doing, I think says a lot about Falcon right here.
That was my biggest takeaway from this whole thing. This is our first scene of the new Avengers, a new Avenger, at the Avengers facility after Ultron tries so hard for us to be like, here you are, the new team. And you're like, really? These guys kind of suck for the most part. And this is our first chance. This is Falcon. This is, he's our new Iron Man, almost. Not really.
Yeah, War Machine.
Yeah, War Machine. But, he's Falcon. He's a big deal.
He's our new Hawkeye.
He's our new...
Emphasis on Hawk.
And you know what? Less than impressive. Didn't do a good job. Not a good first introduction to the Avengers. Just like, wow, this new iteration, not great, I don't think.
They don't do too good.
But Scott had the whole training montage.
This is true. This is true.
But they didn't play Eye of the Tiger.
I love that Scott's apologizing the entire time. Sorry.
And I love too about this whole, this is about the MCU in general, and I think I've mentioned it a couple of times, I'm sure I have, but I love the fact at this point, the Avengers are a well-known entity in the world of the MCU. Like, they're not these hidden vigilantes who hide underground or in a fortress of solitude or some other silly place. They're just there, and they're celebrities, and they're protectors, and everybody in the world knows who Falcon is, right? He's not you can't go to Starbucks without signing some autographs, right? So and that's cool, because again, you have that like, wow, Scott's almost giddy, like, oh.
First off, I'm a really big fan.
I'm a really big fan.
I like that. I enjoyed this fight. Like, this is a fun fight.
Very fun.
And when he finally rips out like some of the tech in the back, he can't see him anymore, and he's able to get away from that. And I like how the last thing Falcon says, "Don't tell Cap about this."
Love that.
Really important that Cap never finds out about this.
Yeah, it's very good. It's also a great opportunity for us now to see. All we've seen of the Ant-Man suit and Ant-Man is kind of running and dodging and not being in control, really. We've seen the training montages of him learning, which is important, but we haven't really seen him be any effective. And we now can see what this suit can do in combat. So we can see, and they mention a lot of these things during training, right? Like Hope says, if you launch yourself at a certain speed, you're like a bullet, once you get small. But it's all about timing, right? So seeing him be able to punch somebody by kind of jumping and then again getting small using his momentum is interesting, right? You're using the force of a 200-pound guy, compacting it into a tiny little ant thing. Boom, you can really do some damage. Lots of flips and lots of just very acrobatic. And Falcon just not good. He did not a good showing, sir.
He's not the best.
He's whipping out double Uzis trying to take out something the size of a Tic Tac.
Yeah, how's that work?
It's like lighting your lawn, like throwing gasoline on your lawn and lighting a fire. Evidently, it's same story. But and it's good. And then of course it ends with, like you said, Mike, with him doing smart ant things, smart ants doing smart ant things, and it's not really smart. He's just going in there and just ripping out cables. Yeah, if someone's whole superpower is relying on an electronic backpack, it's a good way of doing it. Destroy the backpack, and sure enough, it takes him out. And then he just gets it and leaves, and we never see it. It's the end of that.
Yeah, and then Hank is sitting there and be like, "You failed. You shouldn't have did this," and he just throws him the piece of tech, and he all of a sudden changes opinion real fast. It's like, oh, okay.
Did he compliment me? Kind of sounded like it.
Yeah,
this is
funny.
the scene where it's a lot darker than it seems. Like, this is the next part where you have Cross is in the house and Hope goes disappear, and then he comes and he's talking to Hank Pym, and it didn't really occur to me when I first saw this, like, you know, he's just picking up something. He's like, oh, I just wanted to invite you. But when you get farther in the movie, it's like, I came here to kill him, but you were there. When you think about it, he's wearing a leather jacket, he's wearing gloves, like he is here
all black,
ready to murder Hank Pym, his mentor. And he, you know, like, and then when he sees that Hope, this woman that he either romantically involved or not romantically involved, is here, that he ends up kind of like losing it a little bit too when he starts realizing he's been played in a way. It's how I took it.
Yeah, because even Hope's like says to Scott, like, the plans are in there. We need to hide them because he will kill him. She's like genuinely upset about it. So we know this guy is unhinged. At least we know that she knows it.
Yeah. Right, that's exactly it. We know she's aware of just how off the rails this guy is. It's a pretty effective scene, you know. It's got some good tension, you know, and nobody's quite sure what to make of him. And yeah, it's a nice intense scene. And again, we don't need to know he's a bad guy. I mean, we don't need to know he could easily kill a room full of people. He just gooped a stranger and a goat, or a lamb. So I mean, you know, he doesn't have many qualms. And then he leaves and says, all right, well, later.
Yeah, and this is when they start the whole plan to infiltrate. Well, again, it completely becomes a heist movie. And then he's also, oh, we're going to triple security, and we're going to close the vents, and we're going to do this. And I'm thinking to myself, I mean, like, really? Like, you just threaten this guy, like, you know exactly what he's going to do. But okay, I mean, I'll give it to you. But it was just one of those, it was odd to me.
Yeah, I think this is where she says that the being around the Pym particles is messing with his head. He's getting paranoid and whatnot.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I guess he started shrinking at this point, so I can buy it.
Yeah.
So.
I not to belabor the point, I definitely see that more of the movie now, saying I took it as he's been doing all these experiments. He's been surrounding himself with this stuff. It's in the air. It's in his nose. It's, you know, and him just being power hungry to begin with and having this motivation of I've been scorned by my mentor and I'm going to show him is that's a motivation. Sure. Is it a motivation to cold-bloodedly murder a reluctant buyer of your terror weapon? Oh, I don't think that's really calls for that.
That's how you sell it. You kill other people who are interested in bidding against it, so you have less bids. I mean, I thought that's how it works.
That's how sane people operate, I guess. Very good. But yeah, so that's good. So
yeah,
we have our good bros are back and we're getting ready for the caper. Yet another.
I like it.
Yes.
They bring in the team. I mean, the three wombats. I like this. And then also you have a very small scene where he goes and visits Cassie in his ant suit and doesn't say anything, and she's sleeping. And then they have the whole, because again, he thinks he might not come out of this. He thinks he's going to be done.
Yeah. Well, he's remembering why he's doing this too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's a one last kind of goodbye, even though she won't see him, and it's very sweet. It's a little touching little moment. It's nice. It's a good grounding moment for us too. Kind of remind us a little bit. Oh, that's right. He's in it for her. Again, reestablish. You know, good guy. Good.
Even before that is where Scott shows the team the suit and what it can do. Louis says, "Daddy, don't get scared."
And our Russian dude says, "This is the work of gypsies." Yeah. That's my favorite line. That's my favorite joke of the movie. I think there's one other coming up that's close, but
I'm glad you like Kurt. He gets more moments to shine in the sequel.
Oh, does he? Great, good. Because I really like him. He's awesome. Cool. Looking forward to that.
I have no recollection of the sequel.
It's good. I might watch it tomorrow. It's been a while.
Okay. And then you also everything with the whole heist is well done. And when and then they finally go in, like I enjoyed that where they're like, okay, we got to go in through the water because the water the only thing you can't put any like security measures in because of the pressure. And I like this, like, okay, you know, Louis, he dresses up as the security guy, goes in there and he's like, oh, boss told me to go down here and do this. I am the boss. Like, oh shit, and he just punches him in the face instead.
Yeah.
Oh, just before that, we got to remember this is a Disney movie, so he's got to be whistling a Disney song.
Oh, that's what it was?
It's a small world.
I just now got the double meaning that it's a small world.
Oh, did you really? Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's
a small world.
It's like I've got it in my notes that it's a small world, but it's small. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I didn't get that what the song was.
Yeah, it's a small world.
Disney movie.
Yeah, that makes sense. I shouldn't be surprised. And I do like the whole when you have Ant-Man in water with riding the ants and climbing up and then he's in the vents. I enjoy all this little CG part. Like I think it was well done.
Yeah, and that's the point too where I was kind of thinking again. Those are the fire ants who are doing that bit of those horrible creatures.
Yeah.
Those horrible creatures.
They are horrible creatures. They serve any purpose?
No, they're just this great. They need to go. They need to go. My sister, I'm sure, could tell you that they serve some sort of ecological purpose. That's part of the balance of life, and they should be conserved and protected.
Should be burned.
But she doesn't have an HOA. It's gonna find me if my lawn's untidy. So guess what? Them's got to go. And she also doesn't have a 4-year-old and a newborn coming. So that's the other side of it too.
Well, if you want to move to Minnesota, it's a little colder here, but there are no fire ants, so that's a plus, right?
Fair. No, I was curious, and Lindsay, A, I love you. I'm joking, and B, I wonder if these ants could do that. Like, could they? It's silly. It seems stupid, actually, that these ants could surf on a river of water, and then
you gotta figure that the ones under the water are drowning. There's
yes,
that's okay. They can all drown. Fuck them.
Yes, they can. There's.
Well, you live in the South too, kind of, don't you, Mike?
Yeah, I don't think we have them real bad here. I don't know.
Oh, they're a blight here.
I don't go outside. Are you kidding?
Okay, you can't easily drown fire ants. It's the first thing I got when I Googled, can fire ants drown? Okay.
Well, I'm just curious. I'm gonna ask her after this recording, even though it'll probably be midnight.
Oh, it's a real thing. They do have floating fire ant colonies.
Okay.
So yeah, they apparently there was floods and they were floating in floods. There's videos of that.
Gotcha.
Oh, weird.
Well, I'm just curious if they could form ladders and rappel.
Oh, probably not that part.
And ropes. Who knows? I don't know. Animals are amazing, so I don't know.
And they can. You probably knew this. Fire ants can inflict double pain because they can both bite with their mouths and sting with venom from their abdomen.
Yeah, we need to keep these animals. No, we don't. They gotta go.
In a flood, the ants can link together to form a raft that floats on the water surface.
I'll be damned.
If I may call back very quickly, I don't know what I hate worse: fire ants or the Pina Colada song. I don't know which one I detest more. Okay,
you must really hate that song.
You can go back. Yeah, that's the thing. Let's go back to the heist before we continue.
Well, go ahead. Well, I guess we'll get there. We'll get to the crazy ants. It's not far off.
Yeah. So we got Luis. He's got himself. Yeah. Go ahead.
The next part that we had is when the two cops are driving an undercover car and then they go up to Hank Pym because they saw earlier Hank Pym was his lawyer and they're like and Hank Pym or Scott Lang's been missing since then, so they're like, hey, they start questioning him and that's when T.I. steals his car, crashes his car, and at the same time when they're laughing in the van he hits the horn and starts playing the La Cucaracha song. Yep. And they're like, I know that horn, and they go run into the van.
Very good.
Like that bit with Kurt. It's like, we have problem solved.
Problem solved. I like the and we actually didn't mention T.I. is in this movie.
No, we haven't mentioned him once.
Yeah, I don't know. Who is this guy?
He's a rapper. Okay. He's a very, very, very well known rapper. I don't know much of his work. I'm almost positive. Is that T.I.? All right, hang on.
It is T.I., 100% that.
So, yeah, T.I., he's a well-known hip-hop artist. He was really big in, like, the early 2000s, 2004, 2005. Had a lot of hits. And most recently, was on the Blurred Lines, the Robin Thicke song, the big hit from about 4 or 5 years ago. He's on that song. He does the verse on Blurred Lines.
I hope
so. This is like Will I Am.
Any of that.
So. What's that?
I'm not editing all that, just to let you know. But
it's like Will I Am being in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yes. Well, yeah. Wait, don't say who to Will I Am. Come on.
I haven't seen X-Men Origins Wolverine.
I don't know who he is doing that movie. So.
Oh, the black guy that's a fake Nightcrawler. Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah. John Wraith.
Yeah, we'll get there someday, I'm sure. I plan to tackle those someday.
But anyway, I kind of like when non-actors are in movies and small parts and you can clearly tell they're having a great time. Like T.I. is just having a good old time in this movie. He's driving the van, he's making some jokes. It's fun and it's good dynamic to that group. They're all having fun.
He works. I mean, he doesn't really serve a purpose other than he's the driver, I guess, but it works.
Yeah, he's just as an actor, as a celebrity who's in a movie and just enjoying the moment and having fun in a Marvel movie.
I'll buy it.
It's his character's name.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
They didn't give him a last name.
None of the good bros have a last name apparently, according to IMDb.
Why would you? That's fair.
And I like how they get.
I assume their last name is Good Bro.
I like how they get pulled out of the car. I mean, that's funny to me too. And they're about to arrest them, but it takes them forever to actually arrest them because it isn't until later when they finally. I mean, they play a whole part because they have to try to turn off something to let. I know it's later on, but they have to turn off something to let Scott get to the suit, and they're getting arrested. And he fights the cop and hits the button, and it just. I'm like, okay, I don't buy this, but okay. I'll take it.
Yeah, it was kind of silly. It was again, it's a device, you know. They kind of zip tied him, or no, they didn't even like.
No, they don't handcuff him. Nothing. They just put him on the ground.
They put him on the ground, like you guys will stay here, won't you? But
it's got to put some tension in the scene.
Well, hey, this was 2015, not 2020, so I guess a little different time. Yeah, I know. I had to make that joke. And
we see Scott dropping off the crazy ants inside the servers.
Yes.
This is what I'm going to say. Like, I'm sure they produce electricity, but it can't be enough to do what they're about to do, to basically EMP this thing.
It just made me panic. Like, just the idea of ants getting into computers and servers and then unleashing electrical hell is like my worst nightmare. I don't know why. It really freaked me out.
Why do you live in the South again?
No, I don't know.
I mean, up here, I don't have killer ants. I don't have any of that crap.
Hey, listen,
I know.
There's reasons, but no, just even not even just because they're ants. It was just a really effective, like, ooh, that's scary, like.
Yeah, no, it's not nice.
It was cool. It was good though. Very effective, very cool way of utilizing, ants and guess their innate abilities. I'm sure they consulted some zookeepers. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the whole demolition thing that they're doing. That they're launching little like charges on everything, which plays a part later.
Oh yeah, they do have the little charges on them. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what they're up to. This is also when you have the whole time you have the ants in the computer and him frying the server and him dropping down into the suit. You also have all the buyers show up, and this is when you find out that guy who used to work for S.H.I.E.L.D. is a straight up works with Hydra now and just sells whoever. And Hydra's still around. Like they reference what happened in Age of Winter Soldier, but not because Hydra again cut off one head. 2 more will pop up. Whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crosses, it's like, yeah, they're representatives of Hydras. They're doing some great things now. They're not what they used to be. Like, okay.
This is very funny.
Says the bad guy.
Yep, that's just the bad guy.
Well, he just wants their money. He don't give a shit.
Badass bad guy.
Apparently, myrmecophobia is a fear of ants, in case anyone was wondering. Because I can't imagine anyone that has that is watching this movie.
No, probably not.
Especially here in a minute when they start dropping the bullet ants on the guy.
Oh man, I was not a fan of that. I mean, if you're a human being, you shouldn't like that. That's creepy. It's just scary.
I sense a hatred of ants for some reason.
I don't hate ants. I really don't. I don't like fire ants.
I'll let the fire ants know you don't hate ants.
Well, yes.
I'll go speak to them.
Yes,
I'll speak to the ants. The ants have no mouth.
Yes. Make sure you alert the consortium of ant species. I don't problem with ants per se. They're just bugs, and bugs aren't great, But I mean, it's pretty creepy. I mean, to have the idea of all these ants falling on you and biting and
yeah, I wouldn't be okay with it either.
So it's effective though. It's effective little bit of a squirm. It's not horror, obviously, but definitely a little bit of a squirm there, and just very effective.
Or to some people.
Or to some people, for sure, absolutely. But they do a good job in this movie, especially with Anthony, which we're gonna see in a little bit actually, of really endearing us to ants. Because by the middle of this movie, I'm seeing these giant ants and no problem, like desensitized to ant creatures. So I was pretty on board with a lot of that stuff. So
I do gotta say I did like the part when after Scott drops in and then they're like, yeah, and then right as he's dropping in, they lower the suit that he was trying to steal, and you find out it was all a trap. Like he knew he was coming the whole time. I don't know how he knew, but yeah, he's like, I knew.
Don't even know that because he read the script and he was prepared
pretty much. And
by the script person.
I like this. I like you have Ant-Man in the cage. You have Hank punches Cross in the face. He's like, I thought you'd be weaker than that. Like that was good too. Like that was a good little scene.
I like the acting there. It's like, how? It's like I saw the punch coming a mile away, but man, he still got it.
It's a nice little bit of bad guys having fun because they've won. It's like, I won. I got the suit. I got you. I got some buyers. Let's have a little joke. You want to punch me in the face? Go ahead. That's fine. I don't bother me.
It's good. I mean, again, it shows him being just crazy too. And again, I like how this is when you have Cross. I have Cross explains history. I can't remember what Cross explains. Oh, is it their history between them that I put in my notes?
Maybe.
I think so. I think this is when he goes on about how he was, he should have been, he should have trusted him and he wouldn't do this and all that type of stuff. And that's when he's like, I saw too much of me in you. And for those that don't know, Hank Pym is insane. Like, Hank Pym is why Ultron is psycho in the comics, is he has his personality.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Hank Pym's not a good guy. He might be an Avenger. He ain't a good guy later throughout the comic. He goes a little psycho.
I guess they kind of touch on that in this movie because they say that him wearing the suit for years has kind of messed with his head too. And that's why he can't wear it anymore.
Also, the original Yellow Jacket is Hank Pym in the comics.
That I knew.
As a hero, he does go bad at some point.
I have it in my notes as Darren is what would happen if Tony went evil. If Tony Stark was evil, he would end up pretty much like Darren Cross.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good comparison. Yeah.
Good way to put it.
Well said.
And this is when you have him. I think he tries to. I put in my notes. He tries to shoot Pym, but Scott. Oh yeah, Scott breaks out. I like the way Scott breaks out of the cage. He ends up having these little discs that we didn't talk about at all. Where he has a blue one and a red one. That you throw one enlarges something. You throw one will make something shrink.
Yeah, that's kind of important to mention.
Yeah, it comes. Yeah, it plays a part coming up here.
Yes, it does. Yeah, it does. Because that's also the part during the training montage when Hank reminds us that the suit has no weapons. And it's very interesting. The suit doesn't have weapons, so the only means of anything are these discs who can enlarge and shrink and it's of course plays a very big part throughout the rest of this movie.
Very big.
I didn't mean it like that. No pun intended. No pun intended. But you know what? I'll accept it. It's fine.
We like puns on the show, don't we?
Oh yeah.
So and I enjoyed that. Like I also this is when after you see them like attack Cross and kind of beat him down a little bit and he escapes, you kind of see him start to go a little crazy in a sense too. He grabs he has the suit or he has the Yellow Jacket suit and he's starting to kind of lose it a little bit. He's like, if anyone gets out of that building, shoot whatever comes out alive. Like he's already shot Pym. Pym is dying. Like he's just pissed off. And I like seeing him starting to become more and more unhinged. Awesome.
Oh my God. This is also the scene that he's got one of the bullet ants on him, on the back of his neck, and he pulls it off, and it just leaves that wound there. It's so gross.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Not pleasant. Not pleasant.
Well, as we've discussed in this episode, ants are not pleasant. Especially fire ants. And then I wrote in my notes, cool Ant-Man gun scene. This is the scene that was where you have a part where they're trying to shoot at Ant-Man. He jumps around, shrinks, get larger, and does a whole cool thing. This was like I want to say this was the test footage that they originally showed for Ant-Man long before the movie came out that Edgar Wright was involved in to try to help sell it.
Could be.
And this was part of what made it into the movie. Not exactly the same scene, but partly what made it finally.
Yeah, where he jumps up and shrinks down and runs across the barrel of the gun.
Yeah.
That's really
very cool. Very, very cool. Again, recontextualizing stuff that we know and expect. Again, guys in suits with guns. That's because this is a movie and it's a movie thing to have. It's a very standard thing we know, but shrink it down to a little dude jumping on top of barrels and things of that nature, and it's really fun. It just takes something we know and twists it on its ear and represents it as something new and exciting.
And this is also when you have payoff. Like earlier throughout the movie, you see Hank Pym have a keychain. He has a tank on his keychain, and then when they're in this room and he's all been shot up and kind of dying, and he says something about use the tank, and you see this tank just burst out of the wall and they come out.
It is glorious. What a great moment. I mean, because his line is like, "Don't worry, I got a keychain." I think he says, I got a keychain.
He says it's not just a keychain.
It's not just a keychain. Next thing you know, boosh, and it is a huge cathartic. Because again, half their plan too is to destroy the building, like destroy all the records, destroy all the. It's not just it's not really save anything. It's destroy everything. So there's no
make sure
trace.
No one can use the suit.
Right, like nobody can use this suit. Nobody can have this technology.
I love that right at that moment it breaks on the wall, Pacton's calling for backup. It's like, we got gunfire and all this crap's happening, and the tank bursts through the wall, and it's like, and there's a tank.
It's good,
very good. It's very good. And then after that, we cut to Darren in the helicopter, and this is when we have our Shadow of the Colossus moment. when Anthony goes down, and it's sad. Like they play it up, the drama. Like there's one wing just hits the ground.
Yeah,
that's all that's left of Anthony.
I like when my wife's watching this. Like, how the hell did he hit him with a bullet?
Well, yeah,
and
that's
I'm
the other
like,
thing.
well, it's still cool.
Isn't
Yeah.
there a scene in Wanted about shooting the wings off of flies or something?
Oh yeah, okay, all
In
right.
this movie?
No, in Wanted.
Oh yeah. Don't even get me started on Wanted. That's a decent movie. But,
It's a pretty, and it's very effective because we've kind of grown to like Anthony. It's his horse, it's his aggro, and it's that's the point where, listen, if you don't think this guy's got to go now, if the buyer who did nothing but say, the goat or the lamb, I kept saying goat, the lamb, the attempted murder in someone's home and all the other gooping that's gone on, that hasn't sold you that this guy's got to go. Just took
it's
out
gonna
Anthony.
get worse because he gets really freaking evil because it's right after this when they're in the helicopter and you have the building exploding and then you have again somehow Darren jumps, puts on the suit like really freaking fast.
Yeah, that's the sense. I don't understand that.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second, that's a little quick there. And
if
then you
Scott can do it, he can do it. I mean, come on.
I know, but still, his made more sense because his was tailored to him.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I can buy it. And this is also when you have them fighting in the briefcase. I like this scene. The briefcase is falling out of the helicopter, and then they're also playing the Kier in the background.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a One Tree Hill fan, you get to hear about Kier all the time. Nothing.
Yep, Marvel's trying this new thing where the villain has the same powers as the hero, but is evil that they've done 100 times up to this point.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I do like that because it's now you're matching wits. Although I really can't say that because Yellow Jacket has these 4 laser beams sticking out of its wherever it is. But yeah, it's equal ground for the most part. They're 2 guys who are not super villains or superheroes, right? They're still just 2 guys. It's not like Falcon versus Ant-Man, which again just laughed that Falcon lost.
Falcon is
cool
pretty
scene.
stupid.
It's a cool scene. Again, it's just lots of fun. These 2 kind of fighting it out. That's a pretty good Cure song, so I'm into that. And yeah, it's cool. And then they land in a pool.
Bloop, bloop.
Bloop. Yes,
and this is also when he knocks him into the bug zapper.
With a ping pong paddle.
I like that. And then you have him just get you think he's dead, but he's just on the edge of it, and then all of a sudden he gets shot and you hear him screaming and he wakes up.
Oh my god, it's so crazy. And then
Paxton
catches up to oh yeah, go ahead.
It shows him, going more and more insane.
Yeah, definitely. But at the same time, Paxton catches up to Scott and it's like, you gotta listen to me, just shoots him with the taser.
It fits it though. That's what he. I don't blame him. That's what he should have done.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you don't want to hear about ant people and yellow jackets and crazy suits. You just gotta go. I guess you gotta be quiet for a second.
Well, yeah, from a cop's point of view, he escaped jail and has been on the run ever since. So they finally got him. Put his ass down.
It makes sense, and it isn't until he's in the back of the squad car and they get some kind of call over the radio saying how that house is in trouble, which is Cassie's house. And again, Yellow Jacket woke back up and he's like, I'm gonna go kill who he loves because I'm crazy, essentially.
Oh yeah, because he took away his world, so he's gonna take away Scott's.
Yeah, I mean it's good though. It shows you how psychopath this character is.
Yeah, but he made the mistake of making it personal.
That's it. Can't do that.
And I like how they don't they don't put him out of the handcuffs. He's just able to, get the mask on, then he's able to shrink down and get out of the handcuffs. And I really enjoyed this fight scene when they're in her room. Oh, yeah. This is just fucking great. Where they're fighting, Ant-Man versus Jacket. They're fighting on the Thomas Trank Engine set, and there's one point where Yellow Jacket, is about to scream because he's gonna get hit by a train. Then then it goes out. Then you see the little train hit him and bump and fall over. It's like it's not a real train, buddy. But it makes sense that you would freak out because you're small.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so good.
Scott's throwing the train cars at him, and Darren's making them explode. But why are they exploding?
I know. That's a good point. What are they filled with? What are they filled with gasoline? These are.
I guess credit it to his lasers.
I guess, but whatever. It's fine. It's comic booky. It's cartoony. It's silly. Yeah, I agree with you guys. This is the best sequence in the movie. Right. This is the culmination of all the stuff we are here in the theater to see. Right. This is, 2 little ant people fighting it out with Thomas the Tank Engine on a train set in a little girl's bedroom, and all the fun and glee that comes from it is extraordinarily fun. The action is very well choreographed. You always know where you're at. in relation to things,
It's
which can
really
be
weird, yeah.
challenging because of the scope is now different. So saying, "Oh, I thought," well, it was actually a really weird, actually sad moment when they're on the train and Yellow Jacket grabs one of the ants and smashes it against the top of a bridge as the train goes underneath, kind of like almost like a Looney Tunes cartoon. And when Ant-Man goes after him, you see a little smear.
Oh, I didn't get that.
Oh yeah, there's a little bug smear. Like it's like,
Kinda
oh,
cool.
that's sad. I care about ants now. Ants are very important. They aerate your lawn. They aerate. It's a very vital part of keeping healthy ground and soil.
I'll remember to tell that next time you talk about fire ants, I'll tell them they're just doing you a favor.
Sorry. So I just had to. So no, it's just a great scene, and it's so much fun and joyful. You get those wonderful moments when he starts throwing the discs, making things larger and smaller, and you have the giant ant is just the scariest thing in the world. Like that's
really
literally the
cool.
worst nightmare of anybody with eyeballs. Like a dog sized, dog sized ant. It's yeah, no, it's wonderful.
I like that one cop. That's a weird looking dog.
That's a weird looking
Messed up
dog. That's it. And it has one of my favorite good bro moments is when they pull up.
Oh my god!
Yep.
I love
I was
this.
waiting for this.
And when they pull up to the house and they see all the lights and all the cops, and he goes, backing up, backing up, keep backing up. Go ahead.
Nothing's gonna stop us from
Back
helping
up.
Scotty.
Back it up.
Back it up.
Back it up.
Yeah, dude, just like the movie. We just all keep saying, back it up. Other guys, back it up.
Back it up.
Back it up.
Okay. Oh, we're
Yep.
good. Yep.
Back it up.
So it's really, again, very fun moment of what those characters would do, and it's great, and it's a nice little the whole sequence is just a joy. It's a joyful moment of. It reminded me a lot of like what like kids would do, if they had that kind of situation like blocks or something. It's like kids playing with blocks and action heroes. Like that's the kind of thing you'd do with like your brother or sister if you had like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or GoBots or Transformers. And all we had around us were like Thomas the Tank Engine toys and what other nonsense we got from ants, no pun intended. Some of your aunts and uncles. That's the stuff we do, right? You'd build little things and you knock your characters into them, and it's that joyful, kind of youthful, fun scene that is fantastic. It's
mind
great.
being 10 years old again right now sometimes.
Well, listen, hey, all right. I'm talking about joy. Let's stay in the moment. Let's stay in the fun. Let's stay in the fun zone there, guys. Come on.
I do like the giant Thomas that gets tossed out the window when he.
Oh, good.
God, it's and then the thing he has to do to finally beat Yellow Jacket, I also like because he can't get through his armor. He's about to kill Cassie, and he's trying to get through, and he can't get through, so he breaks the messes with the regulator, what he was told not to do, to go into the quantum zone in order to stop Yellow Jacket to save his daughter. He's ready to sacrifice himself to save his daughter, which again, it's good.
Yeah, and this is also the titanium reference. So as soon as for me, I heard the word titanium and like, oh, he's going subatomic. That's what's gonna happen now.
Oh yeah, because the rocket was titanium too.
Yep.
Right.
So I have in my notes. Of course, it's titanium. It has to be.
Yes, because everything has to connect and tie up. Which I'm glad it kind of did. That's fine.
And then
it would have been weird if they hadn't.
Yeah, definitely. We get to Bill's favorite part where Scott screws up Darren's suit and gets some body horror.
Oh, there's your Empire Strikes Back moment here.
Oh.
His arm is the first thing to shrink.
Okay.
Ah.
I forgot that was a thing.
Unfortunately, I did not.
Well, Cassie's gonna have some serious therapy bills after seeing this crap.
Oh yeah, she shouldn't be smiling as much as she is at dinner a few nights later. That poor girl is still in the corner, unfortunately, with her ugly toy. I really thought his screams were chilling, really chilling. The fact that he just starts breaking up from the inside out is horrifying, and it took its time, which I appreciated from just more of a. I did, yeah, but here's why, and it's not because I'm a weirdo who likes that sort of thing.
Yes, you are.
Even though I am a weirdo who likes that sort of thing, it's not because of that. It's because he's earned that.
Mm-hmm.
He needs that. We need that cathartic. You can't just go away in a puff of smoke. You need to like really feel this because you've been just a murderous nut job from day one because your mentor didn't like you too much. Really? Oh, pumpkin. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of a bad reason to go psycho.
He has very little motivation, and he's and like I said, one-dimensional characters all the way through. But He's the most one-dimensional of all of them, but he's got to go. And when he does go, it's a good, snappy, cracky sort of just.
Ugh. Folding up like origami.
Oh yeah, it is just.
I didn't like it.
I knew Bill would though.
Oh
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's great.
I didn't even think about that when I was watching this movie. Like that's how into this movie I was. I didn't even think about, oh yeah, Bill's gonna love this. Like I do a lot of time when we watch these movies. I was just like just watching it.
I have it in my notes as Bill's body horror equals Cassie's therapy bills.
Which genuinely okay.
It's right. I do like what brings Scott back, because after Scott shrinks down to the Phantom Zone, after he shrinks down to the Quantum Realm, wrong franchise, and he's going down, and then he can't, like, you hear Cassie's voice talking to him. He's getting smaller, and then he finally somehow, unconsciously takes one of those discs and puts it into his belt, and then grows back up and ends up popping out alive and escapes the Quantum Zone. It was all really good.
A lot of payoffs there all at once.
Yeah, it's nice. You do get a bunch. And I mean, again, this also links to the second movie a lot, where when he gets back, he tells Pym about the whole how he went subatomic and everything, which will play a part in the second movie.
Right.
And Endgame.
I don't know, and I don't know about, I don't know.
It plays part, you've seen Endgame, so.
I've seen Endgame, yeah.
It plays part in Endgame.
Yeah, but that whole scene had lots of 2001 Space Odyssey vibes for me. Just again, this kind of descent.
That was what they were going for too.
Oh, was it? Was it a
I'm
specific
sure,
reference? Yeah. Okay, that makes sense, because it is, not only is it this very colorful, vibrant, trippy moment of going through molecules and atoms and quantums and whatever else it is, but it's beautiful. So it's all this kind of sensory overload, but the character is becoming numb. He's like, Scott is not fighting it after a while. He's just kind of staring off into the distance and just accepting this kind of serenity of, I'm just going to fall maybe forever. I don't know. But, and then hearing her voice snaps him out of it just enough to like get that disc out of his belt and pop it in and get big again. My thing was like, how's it going to stop him getting big? Like, is he going to keep going? Like, go the opposite way? But clearly it doesn't, because it's a movie, and that's fine.
Yeah, we don't get that until Civil War.
Right, no, exactly, yeah. Which is also lots of fun.
We'll see about that.
So we have our wrap up. Oh, I'm sorry.
We can't forget probably your favorite scene, where you have Hope and Scott kissing. They get interrupted.
Yeah, stop. Would you? Stop.
Hey, it's not Natalie Portman. So you're okay with it, right?
No, no.
It wasn't as forced as the Thor movies, where he's like, "Oh, naked hot guy." Woo. Anything.
Well, no, it wasn't as crucial. That's the thing. Portman being a little horny for hot Nordic man. that was the catalyst for him to no longer be a jerk and realize how important leadership is. Like, that's a turning point. This is just a dumb little tag on where they were smooching and Hank says, "No, you can't do this," and he's like, "Yeah, I can't." Now I don't know if they get romantically involved in the second one. Please don't spoil it. But that was just stupid. I like, why? But at the end, but it was also at the end. So I'm like, it's over. Movie's over.
It's funny though.
I'm not going to get too bent out of shape about it, but no, it's not good.
See, the funny thing, by the time we watch Ant-Man and the Wasp, will be right after we finish Infinity War. So we'll be ready for something kind of lighter after that.
Oh yeah, it's perfect for that.
After
Just
that
like Bill said at the top of this one, how it's such a light note after such a heavy one. It's great for that. But I like Hank being like, "Well, what's going on here?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't know. Hope grabbing me and kissing me, so I gotta go." Like,
I like this.
You're full of shit. Yep.
Yeah, very funny. Very, 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 again, very amusing, very fun little moment of Paul Rudd being Paul Rudd. He's the kind of guy you can't dislike. So
yeah, he really is good. And then you have, like, again, where it's just kind of like a little, like, another scene to kind of wrap in the movie, where they go back to Cassie's house and they're sitting at dinner. The fiance, everyone's okay with him now because he saved Cassie. They don't hate him. They're talking about how they did all the paperwork, and he's they cleared him of when he got arrested for it.
There's a mishap.
Like, oh, he didn't escape. Yeah, he left. Okay, it was okay.
Yep. Starting to see Paxton come around on Scott.
Yeah, nice little scene. It's cool seeing him, around his family, and having this kind of, with split parents and all, it's never normal, but as normal as it could be, congenial, fun, laid back, loose. It was good. It's nice. They deserve that too, and he deserves that. That's his prize at the end of all of this, is just to spend that time with his daughter And they never go into why him and his wife left. Maybe it's because he's a criminal. Actually, it's probably why.
Probably going to prison didn't help.
I think they actually probably said that. So there's still a connection there. Good, and it's good to see the cop, turn around on him. I mean, hey, he did kind of save. He's kind of saved his stepdaughter's life and a lot of other good things. So, yeah. I also want to just go back real quick to when Hank is grilling Scott about being Quantum. And he's like, you don't remember anything? And he's like, honestly, no, I don't. I just don't remember anything. And I feel like he's telling the truth. And he has this look like he was so close to maybe his wife is still alive. Maybe she's still in there, still maybe getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And it's a very poignant scene. And it's one of the really great nonverbal moments, acting moments that he has, Michael Douglas has in this movie. Of which there are a number, and I wish I'd pointed out more as we went through it, because he is very, very, very good in this, and he commands the scene he commands the screen in every scene he's in. So and that was just a nice, touching moment at the end. And then we learn about our last caper, because there's another one to do.
Yeah, when Louis tells us another story about, and I like how it's you have the story where it's going back and forth and this and that, and it's all leading up to Falcon is looking for Ant-Man because of what happened. I like that.
Crazy, stupid, fine.
And we have our Stan Lee cameo, of course.
Our Stan Lee cameo is the bartender.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's fine. Why not?
It's not the best, but and then I don't know what it was. Ant-Man is trying to find out if he can join the Avengers or something like that. I think.
Like Bill said, it's just we know that Falcon is looking for a guy that shrinks.
The last thing they say is he said yes, and they get all excited.
Yeah, I think they say something to the effect of they're looking for Ant-Man, like they're looking for him. I don't know if he says to join the Avengers specifically.
No, they never say that.
Yeah, but he's like, I forget exactly what the last line was. It was something like, "Were they looking for me?" And he goes, "Yes." And what I really like about this too, which is just a silly little thing, but it's good. It's a good touch. How the camera just lingers on his face for like 4 seconds after he delivers yes, and his eyes are kind of blinky, and he's kind of got that weird grin on his face. And then it's cut to the title. Well, cut to the title, yeah, and there's your title.
Oh, that's when the title card is? Okay, I missed this for some reason.
It comes like, right? Am I wrong? It comes and goes quick, and then so I'm not shocked you didn't see it.
I must have been, because I was writing notes constantly during this movie, so I might have been doing notes and not paying attention.
Yeah, it's a different experience when you're documenting as opposed to instead of just watching.
Yeah, like when we do these episodes, we break everything down.
Like during Luis's his story, she doesn't work for S.H.I.E.L.D. I can't remember who the girl is that Falcon's talking to. He's like, I'm looking for someone. She's like, what kind of person are you looking for? We got all kinds of guys now. We got one guy that clamps up walls. I'm like, I know who that is.
I want to say they were in talks to get Spider-Man at this time, so they already knew it was in the process.
Hey, I mean, he's in the next movie, so they had some idea.
Yeah, they had to know. And then you have the credits, and then you also have the part where he shows off where you see the wasp suit for the first time.
Yep.
It looks good.
I like this. She's like, he showed like this is the advanced prototype we were working on. All that's good. Then I want to say the next scene that we see at the very end of the credits, is that straight from Civil War? Where he has.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Okay, it's just an added scene where you have Captain America, Falcon, and Winter Soldier's in a vice grip for some reason. Why a vice grip? I don't know why, but he's in a vice grip. Okay, I was trying to figure out if it was something special or.
Like, they definitely talk like it's somewhere during Civil War, because Falcon says this would have been a whole lot easier a week ago. It's like, I don't even know if the Accords will let Tony help if he wants to.
Okay, so it's after Civil War is already... Okay, so mid-Civil War.
Apparently.
I don't like the Easter eggs that are straight from the next movie. I don't like that.
I agree with you. Yeah.
I want it to be something that's just a little teaser to the next movie, but not something straight from the movie.
I would have to be mid-movie, because they don't track Bucky down until like partway into that.
After everything happens.
I hadn't thought about it.
It's been a long time.
But yeah, and at the end, at the end that end credits, they have Bucky, and they're like, can we call Tony? And they say Tony wouldn't help, and they say the Accord.
The Accords, the Sokovia Accords.
Oh, the Sokovia Accords wouldn't let him anyway. Okay, and then they said I know a guy, and I guess is he referring to Ant-Man? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've seen Civil War, haven't you?
Yeah.
Okay, because he's in that.
And then boom.
Big part.
End of movie.
Yep. I'm
Hooray.
okay with that.
Yeah.
Good movie. Oh, and then I think we should we go to Shelf or Box?
Sure.
Well, do you want to do Shelf a Box first, or because you gave us some homework last time, Mike, about
Oh, yeah.
since we are at the end of phase 2.
We'll do Shelf or Box, introduce the next episode, or introduce what the next movie episode will be after this, and then we'll do the ranking of MCU Phase 2.
Excellent.
And Bill, why don't you go first for Shelf or Box?
Oh, this is definitely going on the shelf. This is such a fun movie. It's very slight. It's a very minor movie in the MCU catalog, but it is exactly the sort of breath of fresh air I needed just during this time, August 2020. It's amusing. It's very creative and inventive. It has some excellent moments of action. The shrinking down scenes are just fantastic. They're wonderful and they're filled with joy. And you can tell that this movie was made by people who A, really loved the source material, and B, really relished the opportunity to play in this kind of sandbox with this sort of character with these abilities. So I adored it. I enjoyed every minute of it, and glad to see it. And I'm really looking forward now to The Wasp, which I have not seen. So this is a very good palate cleanser. So,
it's a good movie.
This is on the shelf.
Okay. How about you, Mike?
Like, I think it was Iron Man 2. I said that I was only going to put like the upper echelon of MCU movies on the shelf. So by that standard, this one has to go in the box because, like you said, it's good, but it's not a real standout among the series.
What movie did you watch?
I'm
just curious.
I agree with you. I agree with you. It's not a standout, but I think on its own merits.
It's not one of my favorites. So, by my stupid logic that I gave myself, it's gonna have to go in the box.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go last. This is definitely going on the shelf because I enjoyed this movie. I laughed at this movie. I was happy watching this movie, and it was really just a good time. Like, I was so happy that we got to watch the movie, especially something after Age of Ultron. I needed something kind of happy-go-lucky that didn't, and this was just that perfect fit. So it's going on the shelf, and if you haven't seen it and you have Disney Plus, go watch it because it's one of those movies that so many people missed, and you shouldn't miss it.
Age of Ultron's a lighthearted movie unless you're a Quicksilver fan.
Yeah, or a Hawkeye fan. I guess he lives, but
he lives.
I mean, you wouldn't think he was going to live after the way that movie goes.
Go back and listen to that episode if you skipped it for some reason.
Exactly.
You might be surprised.
All right, and Bill, since actually the next movie we're going to be covering eventually was your pick.
Oh, is it?
We're going to cover that movie that you picked that wasn't an MCU movie.
Oh, we're going to do Sin City?
Well, we're not going to record it next, but it's going to air next at the time when people hear this.
I'm confused.
It's going to come out the same month that this comes out, so they'll hear it next when they when they listen.
So
to
next, okay. See, wow, I got caught in the time.
We're in a time paradox.
You guys are we're in the quantum, you see, and you guys are in 2021 at this point, probably.
Yes.
Hopefully, we're not in bunkers, and hopefully, fire isn't raining from the skies. But so we're doing Sin City next.
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this movie. I'm very interested to see if it holds up to the phenomenon it was when it was released. I'm curious if it's going to, I'm curious going to hold up. I think it's very interesting. I think the idea of style versus substance is very real with this movie. And it's also extremely violent. And I kind of relish the idea of making these two guys watching something extremely violent in a cartoon.
I've seen it once.
You've never seen it?
No.
Wow. Okay. Oh, well,
I have no idea what we're getting in.
Tell him he's in for a treat, Bill.
You're in for a treat, I think. So you know my sensibilities when it comes to stuff like that. That's all I'm saying. You just know my sensibilities. This will be a very entertaining episode then if you've never seen this movie. I'm a big Tarantino fan, especially back in the days when this was released, and big Robert Rodriguez fan, of course. And just this whole concept of this stylized cartoon comic movie that is from a comic series that is extremely dark and gritty and serious and film noir and all that. Frank Miller, doing that whole thing. So I think it's an interesting tangent to our current MCU. It's a comic book movie, but one unlike has ever been made for mass consumption. So I'm very interested. I think it's interesting, and hopefully the podcast itself is decent.
I'm looking forward to seeing it for the first time, at least because I might have seen it once, but I have no recollection of it, so I'm going to say I never saw it before. I can't even remember it existed, so.
I am really looking forward to this show now because I'm really looking forward to this. Oh, I've seen it probably 30 times. I was super into it when I was a kid, when this was out, when I was like, early 20s, whenever this came out, this was like my jam. I mean, I was angry white boy, and this and Fight Club and all that stuff, man.
Okay.
Great. Super.
I need to stop looking at the woman with her tongue sticking out of Netflix. I need to watch it so I can get rid of it off my queue. It's been sitting there staring at me for a while.
So we will see. Interested to see your takes.
Me too. And then to finish up, we should rank the MCU movie, just Phase 2. We'll save the final ranking for when we get there.
I did my whole ranking. Well, I did Phase 2, but I also did my ranking.
Oh, do you guys want to say the whole thing?
Well, I haven't planned that far ahead.
Oh,
all right. Well,
I had the whole ranking, but
sorry, I'm gonna ruin it for everyone then.
That's okay. Well, we can just give ours, and then you can surprise us, with the full thing. Whatever, we'll figure it out. Do you want to do just Phase 2 then? Let's do that.
Yeah, we'll do Phase 2. I'll go first. My number 1, Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man, Ultron, Iron Man 3, and then there's a second Thor movie, right? I can't remember.
Yeah, there's a Reality Stone movie.
Oh, okay. That's what it was.
How
about you, Bill?
I mean, it's pretty close. I think we're all going to have the same thing. Winter Soldier, number 1. I have Guardians 2. I have Ultron 3, which is when it's actually, I was writing this, those two could flip-flop week by week, to be honest with you. I am still shocked at how much I liked Ultron. But at this moment of writing it, Winter Soldier, Guardians, Ultron, Ant-Man, Thor, and then Iron Man 3.
Ooh, I hated Iron Man 3.
I despised it. It was not good.
How about you, Mike?
I have Age of Ultron as number 1.
Yeah, I expected
I had a funny feeling too.
It's a wrong opinion, but I expected it.
Winter Soldier's number 2, though. Then Guardians, then Ant-Man, and I don't know where you guys are talking about. There's only 4 movies in this phase. God, I don't even know how to rank those last two. I guess I'd put Iron Man 3 first just because of the house party thing at the end. But yeah, that's it.
Iron Man 3 is a better movie than Thor. It's more memorable than Thor Dark World.
That's fair, even if it's because it's so bad.
It's still, I mean, Thor Dark World just happened. I'm like, what was that again?
It was the movie, apparently.
Yeah, the brotherly thing in Dark World saved it for me, other than Iron Man 3. I know a lot of people who judge movies on that merit, like if it's bad but at least somewhat interesting bad.
I enjoyed Iron Man 3 this time.
That's bad.
I mean, yeah, that's right. That was
I don't know why, but I enjoyed it more than Avengers.
Oh man,
that's a line I shouldn't keep uttering.
It takes credence away from you liking Age of Ultron then.
I know.
I really like Age of Ultron though. A lot more than Avengers.
Saying you like Iron Man 3 kind of taints your rankings. I really didn't like that movie.
I can tell.
But those two are a toss-up, really. I don't know. Maybe I have a hard time remembering both. Every time, you know what it is? With Iron Man 3, not to get this too long, with Iron Man 3, I always just think of how much of a dick Tony Stark is. I always think of Tony Stark telling a child outside of a car, from inside of a car outside on a snowy day, saying, "Hey, I guess that's why your dad left." Like, what?
Jesus.
Monster.
I'm gonna leave just like your dad. Bye. Yeah,
that was it. Yeah, what? And just bad Stan Lee cameos and just all that.
Jeez.
Oh, it's bad. I mean, there's the cringe bad in Iron Man 3 is worse than anything that's just boring bad in Dark World. Dark World's biggest problem, again, not to go too long, is it's boring. It's boring and it's dull and it's just uninteresting and confusing and blah 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 blah. But Iron Man 3 is just mean and misguided, and the bad parts sting harder than just the numb and anesthesia of
this episode. Before we recorded Iron Man 3 episode, I would 100% agree with you, and somehow I found myself enjoying it last time.
Iron Man 3 wins up because it introduces to Omniboat.
Yeah,
I've not forgotten.
Indeed.
I forgot about Omniboat. I don't want to remember Omniboat either.
Someday.
Okay, you keep saying that. I have lots of other things planned for Omnivote. All right, any last things to say, or should I start wrapping up with plugs?
Oh, I
Wrap
think
it
we
up.
said plenty.
Okay, yeah, we did. First, I want to thank Bill and Mike for doing this with me when we had issues with my internet and we're recording later. So, which we had not referenced that joke from earlier. Oh, fucking internet. I still don't know why my internet went out. But okay, first I want to say if you enjoyed this episode, we got 11 other MCU episodes for you to check out. So go listen to those. They need more love. And also we do regular weekly episodes every week. We do mini episodes now. We cover bite-sized games and we record episodes about it. We also have comic episodes, other movie episodes. Go check out. We do tons of stuff on this podcast because I'm crazy. So definitely check those out. Want to give an awesome shout out intro to our courtesy of Bulby, aka Mike Stoney from his EP Bite the Bullet. The song's the Cool Kid Squad. So if you like our intro, check out his YouTube channel. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can find us at Games My Mom Found or at Mom Found on Twitter. If you search Games My Mom Found, Google, it'll find us just fine. So find us, follow us on there. I'm constantly posting images and new things, whatever's going on with the show. As long as I don't forget and the internet's out and I don't do anything that day. I usually do. So check us out on there. And I think that's all I need to say for tonight.
By now, all of our Spooktober stuff is out, so if you're into that kind of thing, you've got a whole swath of awesome games to listen to.
I forget what I don't even know exactly when this is going to come out, so it might have been over for a little bit at the time.
Yeah, but still, it's a good lineup. So if you haven't listened to it, go back and check it out.
All right, we will see you guys all next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.